Get 'em Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, January 6th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. A horrible 2023 in NHL for me. Just atrocious last night. Very difficult to handle. NBA, we were a point away from sweeping the board, 2-1 plus 0.9 units, 1-1 in NCAA basketball. I didn't end up moving on USC. I just felt like it was too public of a dog, which hurt. San Francisco first half was a thing, fucking beauty. Maryland first half cost me. Upset. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Ryan Mueller getting us started with the dono. Thank you so much for looking out for us, caring about us, my friend Ryan Mueller in the house. MDR24, Sammy Calmer, J Dub, Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly gave us Hoagie for top 10 in this week's PGA. -7 to get a Hoagies round popping off. And now he's got a good value matchup. Adam Svensson money line. Adam Svensson money line here on a matchup versus Justin Thomas. Gonna copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Dan. Get that locked in. Joe Ortner ready to get to work. Slatsy says NFL Joe Flacco starting for the Jets. Oh my God! How do you lose that category? Aho over 2.5 shots. Canes have 67 shots and lost. Slides says big bounce back day. I'm 0-7. It's cost me a lot of money in NHL so far in 2023. I came into 2023. I was telling you guys, look, I 16 in my last 21, and it's all falling apart for me. Dan Kelly on Clippers first quarter, first half. I won in on that. I meant to bet it already. I meant to bet it last night, but we're doing the entire NCAA basketball cards, 14 games, but it did take a little bit of time. I wanted to have the pace of play numbers for all the teams and NBA as well with NHL. It's a big day here. Big day here. Betting with the Bag. Bobano ready to pop off with us. And it's Durrell making a Friday appearance for us. Danny Lopez, Jared JB in the house. Nice to see you. Series Business ready to get to work. Fanatical Jim, RVD 420. Viper NB, Mike M, Rocco Rogers. Nice job last night. D Jenkins in the house. Phila, Birdie, Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast. We got Stimmy OD, we got Kadesh Dean. Great group. We have a lot of work to do today. Yesterday was frustrating. A Magic +7. I mean, I guess I didn't deserve it. Lost by a point. Boston, Dallas under 231.5. It kept climbing and climbing. How is that possible with the pace of play the Mavericks play and them being at home? It was no sweat under, easy under. And Nuggets -5 was a gift here. Die Hard MMA says the play of the day is back on Monday. UFC is back next week. So keep an eye on our guy Clint's podcast here on Pub Sports Radio. Man, it was very, very, very upsetting. Dan Kelly said, I put all the lines in my charts last night as I usually do and was surprised at the overnight moves and the size of the moves. Very unusual today. It is Friday in the NBA. Yes, Coin, let's get a bounce back spot. Coin sharing his action here with us. Let's copy and paste that right now. Kadesh says Clippers are so trash. Easy. I want to back the Clippers today. I want to back. I see why Dan's backing them first quarter, first half. I would have moved on them last night if I could have. It wasn't available at, 2:15, 2:30 in the morning when I ended up crashing. Sammy says Clippers trifecta today. I don't know if I'll go that far. I'll probably find a double up spot. Yeah, yesterday they were garbage. It was great. I enjoyed it. No sweat cashers. Would it be nice to sweep the board? I got to get hot in NBA. I know it's close. We have a huge card today. We have NHL and then 14 NCAA basketball games. And then we're joined by Durrell for NBA. So we're going to get to work right off the hop. Let's bring in your star of Fridays here. Doing a great job. And I love these Fridays working with them. Please welcome to the show from Hamilton, Ontario, Ian Cameron in the house. Bobano, how are you?
Good to be with you, Jimmy. We got more NHL on a Friday than normal, so 6 games. We'll see what we can find.
Yes, and I'm 0-7 in 2023. Very upsetting. And I had gone 16-5 to close out 2022, and getting confident, getting hot, and that's all gone. Let's get right to work, my friend, and we start with 7 p.m. action. Let me make sure I got all my necessary things up so I can drop the line history. That's all I care about here is the line history. We're not going to go into cash flow for this one. Just small sample size. Don't feel like it's very helpful. Let's get to work. 6-game card in NHL. Bobano here to rock with a 7 p.m. Eastern. Florida Panthers 17-18-4, 7-12-1 on the road at Detroit Red Wings, 16-13-7, 9-7-3 at home. We're at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. I have Spencer Knight versus Ville Husso. I'm not sure if Knight is confirmed. Maybe Bobano knows that. 9-6-3, 3 goals against average, 908 save percentage for Knight with a shutout. Husso 12-7-5, 2.94 goals against average, 904 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Florida power play at 19.7, penalty killing 74.5. Detroit power play at 20.9. Penalty killing at 76.4. Imagine if Tyler Bertuzzi was in front of the net too. It's a good sign. If they can have Perron, at the hash marks, Larkin kind of conducting things, and then, we know what Mort Seider and Lucas Raymond can do, and we'll be able to do on power play. But if they could just get that big body with soft hands in front of the net, Bertuzzi still waiting on his return, and he's a big piece of the Detroit Red Wing puzzle. This opened up with the Panthers minus 138. There's been a 9-cent move towards them to minus 147. Minus 138 to minus 147. Totals wise, this opened up at 6.5. There's been a 13-cent move to the over. Panthers come in off a 5-3 win at home versus Arizona on Tuesday night. Red Wings coming off that ugly 5-1 loss versus New Jersey on Wednesday night. Take it away for us here, Bobano. Panthers, Red Wings.
Yeah, Florida's trying to get their season going in the right direction. But they've had an issue really putting good performances together. It's insane that this team, having won the President's Trophy last year, has not won 2 games in a row since December the 1st and 3rd. And it was a 2-game win streak against Vancouver, who's been obviously having a rough season, in Seattle. So this team, to trust them to win multiple games in a row, they've only done it a few times. They've just won a game, they've lost a few, won a game, lost one, won a game, lost 3, won a game, lost 2, beat Arizona, of course, in their last game 5-3. Can they win 2 in a row? It's unbelievable. They've had so much trouble doing that. They have owned Detroit. They've won 7 straight head-to-head meetings against the Red Wings, and Detroit off a disheartening 5-1 loss to the New Jersey Devils at home on Friday night. Obviously not thrilled with their performance. Ville Husso's kind of hit a wall the last couple starts, hasn't played nearly as well, given up 9 goals in his last 2 starts. He is in net. We don't have confirmation yet for the Florida Panthers starting goaltender. It'll Bobrovsky or Knight. It hasn't been determined who it is just yet. I actually have to lean Detroit here. I'm just waiting to see who's in net for Florida in this game. I just don't trust them to win 2 in a row. They've not shown no evidence of doing that. You've got Detroit off a bad performance, and they've been reasonably good after bouncing back after bad games. Their home record's not bad. 9-9 at home. They at least have 2 home wins more than on the road. Florida's a putrid 7-13 on the road this season. I'm not interested in a road chalk price with the Panthers. So it's just a question of whether I bet Detroit, and I'm undecided right now.
The perfect sense to me, exactly what you just said. Don't find the Panthers appealing. Then do we want the Red Wings expecting a bounce back spot? I am a little hesitant to fade the Panthers. Sammy Comer says Panthers own the Wings, but can't back the Panthers on the road, especially laying this price. Buy low on Wings. I don't want them either. And Jimmy Gomez saying Husso isn't bad. There's only so much you can do with a bad team. Ask Gibson. Well, look, Gibson's shown us flashes of his old self. I don't think we can. He still has a save percentage under 900, I believe. When we check him, we'll talk about him today. But I agree. I completely agree on this spot. And you want to stay off the total here?
I'm just looking at it right now. I'm just the series history. I'm just looking at form and just a bunch of things here that the total is 6.5 as well. Yeah, nothing on the total right now. I lean over, but the series history has kind of trended that way. We've seen 6-1, 6-2, 5-2. I might move on the over, but again, I would prefer Bobrovsky in net. If it's night, I'll probably not bet that.
Stimmy OG's on the Panthers. I'd be so angry with what happened with my decision making yesterday and really this week in NHL. And already I start feeling better hanging out with you guys, talking it out. Let's get back. I feel much, much better. I've been beating myself up and not sleeping. Let's move on. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, Nashville Predators, 17-14 and 6, 8-8-3 on the road. Washington Capitals, 22-13 and 6, 12-5-3 at home. Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. And Jimmy Gomez says, comment, not endorsement of the Wings. No, I feel you there. Absolutely feel you there. Kevin Lankinen versus Charlie Lindgren. Lankinen's been better. It's just more questioning of the Chicago Blackhawks decision-making. Now, its sample size is small, but he, 916 save percentage in 8 games. Nothing wrong with that. Charlie Lindgren's been good, and he's earned the opportunity to be the backup in Washington. Nashville power play at 18.3%, penalty killing at 78.9%. Washington power play at 22.9% and climbing. Interesting that it's still looking very good without Carlson, which tells you, a lot about who is the most important spots on that power play. And of course, we know Ovechkin is, but Oshie is so important. Wait till Backstrom comes back. Predators won 5-3 Carolina last night, despite being outshot 67-25. Capitals come in off an easy 6-2 win at Columbus last night. So both teams are on the second half of back-to-backs. Take it away here for us, Bobano. Predators, Capitals.
Definitely like the over here. Over 6 minus 120. I mean, both teams are trending over 4-0 the last 4 head-to-head meetings to the over in Washington between these two teams. Both teams are scoring right now. Nashville's picked up their offense 6, 4, 6, and 5 goals in the last 4 games. You score 5 against Carolina and Kochetkov, the way he's been playing, you're in good form offensively, and they've gotten the spark from different players throughout the line. Forsberg's been in great form. They get a goal from Jankowski, who's from my town. It was great to see that. They've gotten some production from the blue line. They've got some of their depth forward scoring right now. It's been good to see for Nashville. Washington now, and both teams, by the way, on a back-to-back situation here. They both played last night, both won last night. I was actually on Nashville at the underdog price last night. I just thought, Carolina, a little bit of a tough time trying to bounce back when you have that long a win streak and you have the win streak snap and you have it snapped by a team you wanted to beat badly, the New York Rangers, for knocking you out last year in the playoffs. I figured maybe a little tricky spot to bounce back, and sure enough, it was. Again, both of these teams on a back-to-back. Washington's only 1-3 on a back-to-back. Nashville 2-2. Second of back-to-back games, but I think we'll see goals. You got two teams in good form offensively. We expect the backups to be in net for these two teams. It was Kemper starting for Washington last night. Obviously, it was Saros for Nashville, who was just absolutely spectacular. It was one of the best goaltending performances of the season so far in the NHL. We should see Lankinen for Nashville, Charlie Lindgren here for Washington. Neither's been confirmed, but I'm expecting that. Both of those guys, they've got some pretty good numbers. Actually, Lindgren's been much better than anybody had any reason to believe, but I still have doubts he's going to be able to sustain this long-term moving forward. So over 6 minus 120 at BetOnline.
Yeah, so available at a few books here. Bookmaker and BetChris haven't moved it to 6.5 either. Pinnacle has the 6.5 at plus 103. I'd be interested to see if I could actually beat that. Question from, I believe it was D. Jenkins, said, would you endorse the 6.5 at even money, Bobano?
Yeah, because the 7 is the win number. As long as I get the same win number, yeah, I would. Obviously, I prefer 6 in case it's a 4-2 final. But yeah, I'm 6.5. I'd still bet it.
And let's just see if I can beat that by a penny or two here. This is the Nashville over 6.5, and over 6 there is minus 121. So I cannot. Okay. We move on. Bobano's on the over 6 and minus 120. These teams are trending towards offense. I completely get it. Mike M running it back with Nashville.
And after all the defending Nashville had to do last night, obviously, when you face 67 shots, they could be really vulnerable to giving up goals tonight. You might be worn down. You might make mistakes, physical, mental mistakes might creep into your game. So, yeah, sets up well, I think, for goals, yeah.
I get it. I get it from a trend situation. Personally, I don't like going back to high scoring 24 hours later. But that's just my own ROI and obviously a vividness bias. But I get why you and getting the 6 at -120 is an important piece, I think, of your puzzle. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, Tampa Bay Lightning 24-12-1, 9-8-0 on the road. At Winnipeg Jets 24-13-1, 14-6-0 at home. Canada Life Center, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Vasilevsky versus Hellebuck. This is a fascinating matchup here. You have the Lightning, who had their 4-game winning streak snapped in an ugly 5-1 loss at Minnesota. The Jets coming in off their third straight win, 3-2 at home over the Flames. The Jets have handled playing without Blake Wheeler. Nikolai Ehlers has been out for a long time. They both are, Ehlers, we assume Ehlers is closer to returning than Blake Wheeler. We're not entirely sure. Nate Schmidt has been out as well. Tampa Bay power play 27.5%, penalty killing 81.8%. Winnipeg power play at 23.1%, penalty killing at 82.7%. Both these are two good hockey teams, and both have strong special teams, and both have really strong goaltending. Don't look now, but Vasilevsky is heating up. He's doing exactly what he does every year. He's just getting stronger as the season goes on. He looked average for a lot of this year. He doesn't look average anymore. Let's take a look at the line history here for this Lightning Jets spot. This opened up with the Lightning at -114. It's moved a cent at Pinnacle, just 1 cent. From a total perspective, it opened up at 6, juice to the over. It hit 6.5 there. So it opened at 6, juice to the over. The initial money started coming in on the under. And then around 9:30 this morning, it bumped up to 6.5. And it's come back to 6. I find this a pretty tricky hockey game to find an edge that I can trust. Let's see if Bobano can do that. Take it away, Lightning Jets.
Yeah, it is. I lean Jets, honestly. And I don't like going against Tampa Bay often when they're off a loss. They're usually very good in that spot. They're off one, obviously, against Minnesota. They lost 5-1 the other night. That was Brian Elliott, by the way, that was forced to be in net that night because Vasilevsky was ill, under the weather, couldn't get the start, so he had to start back-to-back, and he played the night before in Chicago as well. So it was Brian Elliott back-to-back games there for the Lightning. He played well against Chicago, did not follow it up, obviously, against Minnesota. They lost that game 5-1. The whole team was kind of didn't bring their best. You'd expect them to be better here tonight. Long-term, they've been good off the loss, but I'll tell you what, Winnipeg's playing great. And I'm not really looking to step in front of them at a small underdog price at home, where they've obviously played very good hockey this year. I mean, the Jets are 14-6 at home, Canada Life Center. They've played very well here in this building. And don't look now, they're going to get maybe not just 1 or 2, maybe a bunch of reinforcements tonight. They were a banged up hockey team. They could be looking at 4 of those guys that were injured being back tonight. Not for sure, but projected that they all could return. They could see Blake Wheeler back in the lineup tonight for the Jets. We could see Cole Perfetti, who is playing on the top line. Good young prospect for this team. He might be back from injury. Nate Schmidt, veteran on the blue line, might be back tonight from injury for the Jets. Nikolai Ehlers, who's been out for a while, there's a chance he's back in the lineup tonight. So you could have 4 regulars back in the lineup returning from injury tonight for Rick Bowness and the Winnipeg Jets. So that's a bet on situation, obviously. And you're getting, they're all very important players. Perfetti has become a good young talent offensively. Wheeler has had a bounce-back resurgent season. Ehlers, obviously, is one of the best offensive players on this hockey team. You've got one of your steady hands on the blue line, Nate Schmidt coming back potentially. All 4 could be back tonight. And so if I get confirmation they get all those guys back, this might be a rare move for me against Tampa off a loss, because I just think Winnipeg remains undervalued right now. If it's Hellebuck, if they get these guys back, in net, or not in net, but if they get these guys back in the lineup, I'd be interested in Winnipeg. It's stand pat right now, but we'll see what more information develops as the day goes on.
I agree. I think it's crucial to stand pat right now. If Wheeler was to come back, he'd be coming back over a week and a half earlier than we expected him. Ehlers we've been expecting him back now for, I don't know, since the end of 2022. We thought, he's going to be back. So he hasn't come back yet. So I think it's imperative to
Tampa's been average on the road. Okay, they lost to Minnesota. They beat Chicago. Big whoop. Who cares? Chicago's terrible. Don't forget they got bombed by Toronto before the Christmas break on the road, and Detroit beat them 7-4 when they went to Detroit the very next night. This has been an average Tampa Bay team on the road, 9-8 on the road this season. So, be careful with the Lightning tonight. That's all I'm saying.
But I think that you being patient here until the information comes in. I just checked the beat writers in Winnipeg, and there's no update. And I'd be very wait till you get the information that these guys are in before you move. Birdie,
Vasilevsky, we're not even totally sure he's available. So, he's been ill the last couple of days. We'll have to see if he starts as well. If he starts, obviously it's a boost for Tampa. He's given up 2 goals or less for the Lightning in 7 of his last 8 starts. So obviously he's in good form.
And Birdie, Tuesday's Gridiron Gambler show is not stopped. We're going all the way through the playoffs, so nothing is stopped. And in fact, the show is going to become much, much, much more enjoyable when you don't have 16 games to cap. So you can start getting a deep dive, and I enjoy that immensely, rather than the stress that I have of making sure that I've got the game set up for you. So I'm really excited about Tuesdays now moving forward. Okay, and yes, Dan Kelly, the Blackhawks are tanking enormously. There's Alex Hills in the house. We have, yes, I am, Stimmy OG. My Sunday and Monday live streams are going full steam ahead. I would like to start moving in NHL and horse racing and other things as the opportunities arise. But I've enjoyed the live streams very, very much. And if you guys want them, I'd like to keep doing them. And so I know we didn't have a Thursday night this week. We'd like to have Thursday night live streams at Pub right now. So we're discussing who will be hosting those. But we find the live streams really fun. Get us a chance to hang out with each other in a less stressful situation, a more enjoyable situation where we're looking for angles live. So let's roll on. Mike M says, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. If you're Jets, you have to get up for every one of those games. And they certainly did. And thank you for the kind words, Birdie. So it's a perfect spot for Dan Kelly to talk about the Blackhawks tanking. The key thing here in this hockey game is Patrick Kane left in the second period of Tuesday's 4-1 loss to Tampa and did not return for the third period. He could return tonight. I'm sure in a regular situation he would return tonight. But right now, his health is paramount for getting assets back around the trade deadline. So I don't expect Kane to be out there. And that power play at 20.2% is not a 20.2% power play without him in the lineup. Arizona's power plays continued to drop. I mean, maybe they were playing over their head, but the fact that it started to drop so quickly when Chikrin came back to the lineup is a little surprising for us all. Let's talk about the Coyotes, 13-19-5, 6-16-3 on the road. The Blackhawks, 8-25-4, 5-14-2 at home. We're at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Connor Ingram is listed. I don't know if he will be in. If it's Ingram versus Mrazek, it just doesn't get worse than this from a goaltending matchup. Arizona's on the second half of a back-to-back after losing at Philadelphia 6-2 last night. They've allowed 16 goals over the last 3 games of the road trip that ends tonight. So what angle are you looking at? Is this after allowing 16 goals in their last 3 games? Do they just want to go home? Or do you think that they can tighten up defensively and have a good game before going home? That's crucial in this cap. And the Blackhawks coming off their 5th straight loss, 4-1 at home versus the Lightning. This Blackhawks team looks absolutely atrocious. And it's too bad that in such a great hockey city, this franchise has just been a debacle, a horrible, horrible debacle. And not even, I'm talking about player personnel, obviously other things that we don't even need to get into that have gone on in the last 5 years. In Chicago. Chicago opening up minus 118, now down to minus 107. So money coming in on Arizona. Then this total opened up at 6, juice to the over. It popped up to 6.5 for a little bit and then immediately came back down. Take it away, Bobano here. Bum fight in the United Center.
Yeah, bum fight, but I like goals. And I always like these situations for overs. Bad teams both are going to think they can win the game because, they're playing an equally bad team. And the result is you usually get a pond hockey style of hockey game. Wouldn't shock me to see that. 2 of the last 3 meetings have gone over with these teams. Arizona's trending over. Not so much Chicago, actually. Chicago's had trouble scoring. 1 goal against Tampa, 2 against San Jose, 1 against Columbus, 1 against Chicago. Shutout by they've really had trouble scoring, this Chicago team. There's no question about that. But against Connor Ingram, against a tired Arizona, road-weary, jet-lagged team on the second of back-to-back games after playing in Philly last night, I think Chicago can finally get some offense going. And I think they might get – I don't know if the team's going to feel this way because they are trying to tank for Bedard. They can say whatever they want. That's exactly what they're trying to do, especially if they start Peter Mrazek in net, which is looking like that's going to be the case. He's been awful. He's been absolutely brutal. And, and I know that he's had the groin injuries left and right, but he's an automatic to give up at least 3 goals in pretty much every start he's made. And in most of them, he's given up 4, 5, even more than that. I would think you're going to see Mrazek tonight. I think Arizona can score goals. That's the one thing Arizona's doing right now. They're putting the puck in the net for the most part. They got held to 2 last night, but they scored 3 against Florida, 3 against Tampa, 6 against Toronto, 6 against Colorado. Big reason why they're trending over, but they're giving up goals too. Philly gets 6, Florida gets 5, Tampa gets 5. They've really struggled defensively on this road trip, and that was with Vejmelka in net, who's by far the better goaltender for Arizona. Now you got Ingram, who's had a brutal season. I think 4 goals against average for Ingram this year. So Chicago should find the back of the net. What I like about Chicago offensively, even though they've struggled mightily the last few games to score, they're going to get an infusion of these call-ups from the AHL. They're going to bring Lucas Reichel into the lineup. They're going to bring Brett Saney into the lineup, called up from the AHL. These are guys that are really producing down there. Now, the question remains, can they do it at the NHL level? But they're going to play with energy. They're going to play with enthusiasm. They're going to get an opportunity to show what they can do at the NHL level. I think they're going to get ample opportunity. Saney is going to play on the third line. They might even put Reichel up on the top 6, either on the top line or the second line for Chicago. So that should help. It can't hurt. They can't score right now. At least you get these 2 guys from the AHL in the lineup, Saney and Reichel. It's going to give yourself a chance to maybe get this offense going. So I think Arizona finds the back of the net against this horrible Chicago defense and Mrazek, who's been a sieve. But I think this could be the night the Blackhawks finally get a little offense in their game. I like over 6 here, and I think the best number here, over 6, -115 at BetOnline.
Yeah, I see that over 6 for you, Bobano. Also, it's just perfect seeing Dylan Guenther score the goal. Of course, the Canucks could have drafted him if we didn't make that Oliver Ekman-Larsson Garland trade that was absolutely atrocious. That was hailed by everybody in Vancouver as this great, great move. And oh, God, fucking ass clowns. Of course, Guenther scores the winner. That actually made me feel good. I just so badly want to find Benning, find him, and put a ski mask on and two-hand him right in the kneecap with an aluminum pole.
Could have been the Canucks guy. Yeah, Dylan Guenther. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. It just my hatred for him will never cease. Just like my hatred for Stu Jackson, who was offered Steve Nash for Bibby straight up and said no to that trade. Said no to us getting our BC boy point guard on our basketball team. Those 2 men I despise more than anybody else. It's wrong to hold hatred in. It's not a healthy thing. It doesn't bring you any kind of happiness in life. But I'm fucking holding it in on those 2 motherfuckers. If I ever get a chance to see them across the street by a convenience store with a ski mask, I'm going to go to jail. Let's move on. 9 p.m. Eastern, New York Islanders, 22-15-2, 10-9-2 on the road at the Calgary Flames, 18-14-7, 11-7-2 at home. We're at Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary, Alberta. Islanders on the second half of a back-to-back after losing to Edmonton 4-2 last night. Great call by Gokster. It bothered me so much that I said, obviously, the vividness bias after the Islanders win 6-2 and the Oilers lose 5-2. The recency bias would make you think, oh, I'll take the Islanders over the Oilers. And I said that out loud, and I was like, of course I'm not going to do that. But Gokster had the wherewithal to back the Oilers, and that's that's impressive capping. Fowlish Hound says the Bruins are taking the cup. This DeBrusque injury opens up a little bit of cap room in the LTIR for them to possibly make a move at the deadline, because we talked about the Lightning and Bruins being as good as they can be. No salary cap room, not able to add anybody, but this gives them a chance to do something here. So Flames snapped their -2 game winning streak with a 3-2 loss at Winnipeg on Tuesday night. They played 5 straight unders. This team is playing unders. Sammy Comer looking at the under 5.5. There's Big Daddy Boom in the house, Sean Pulliam. And let's see what we have for line history here. Move this over here quickly. For this one, Islanders, Flames, we have the Flames opening up at -183. They've taken 30 cents. That's a big move. That's a big, big move. And that's, how in the world the Islanders could be +190 in this spot. It surprises me. The 6 moved to 5.5 at 6 this morning. The 5.5, under 5.5 is +104. I imagine you can find a 6. Imagine they're out there. So let's hear what our guy Bobano has to say about this. The Calgary's not scoring goals. To think that the Islanders could be +190 is, I don't need to necessarily fall for it at this point, but I'd love to hear your take. Take it away, Islanders, Flames.
Oh, I love the spot for Calgary. I just hate the price. It's really that simple. I mean, I want to back Calgary here. They're off the loss against Winnipeg, where I thought it was an even game, and they just got one more goal than the Flames did, which has been the case in a lot of Calgary games this year. They've been so close in so many of their losses. Look at the losses: 3-2, 2-1, 4-3 in overtime, 4-3 in a shootout. I mean, when they lose, it's like a tight game. It's a one-goal game, and they've had so many one-goal losses this year where they just don't get that big goal the other team does. And that's been the difference in the end. But I like the spot for them. Rested team, home off a loss to the Winnipeg Jets. The Islanders on a back-to-back at the end of a long road trip. Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton last night, Calgary tonight. They go back home after this. It's not an Islanders spot, but I can't do it with Calgary in this price range. I can't. -210. I mean, you're not even getting a great price in regulation, -130. And I've just seen it too much. If you're betting Calgary again, whether it's money line or in regulation or the puck line, you're going to be sweating and you're going to be, biting your fingernails in the third period, and it's going to be a close game, because that's all they do right now is play close games. 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3. Those were the results for Calgary in the last 6 games, all of them tight. And I don't want to be sweating a bigger favorite when all I know is that they win or lose close games, and that's what we're seeing right now with the Calgary Flames. So I love the spot for Calgary. If you're going to bet Calgary, maybe a first period puck line. I could get behind that potentially, because at least in that spot, get out to an early jump on the Islanders who played last night, and the price is a little bit better, +135 for a -0.5 the first period puck line for Calgary. I might play that small. But that's about it. I'm going to pass on anything official. It's just not the right price range for a team that all they do is play close games. You don't want that out of a big favorite.
See, I was thinking the opposite, that the Islanders, well-coached, deep hockey team who did not show any fire early in that hockey game, and maybe we could trust them in the first period. And in the first period here with the Islanders,
some truth to that. Come out strong, then maybe gradually wear down as the game goes on, because they're on a back-to-back. Yeah, that's
what I was thinking. But Slatsy's with you, and so maybe that'll keep me off of that spot. But I certainly was thinking of the Islanders' first period of +145. That's the risk reward that appeals to me here.
I can't believe how they keep pricing Calgary. I really can't. Like, it's wow. I keep thinking at some point, when they're playing, then the Islanders aren't a garbage team, and yet here's Calgary -210 now. I mean, so it's unfortunate, and it feels like you're just not getting the bargain value you should be getting for the Flames.
It's interesting when we talk about the end of the road trip, and let's just touch on. I know we got to get into college basketball, but it means so many different things. I don't necessarily instantly equate it to wanting to get home, especially when you've just lost and you know how tight that division playoff race is, or the whole thing is, because, the Mets going to get 5 teams. It's so tight right now. The Islanders must win. So, Coin says, didn't Isles head coach come out the other day talking about the slow starts? If he did, I did miss that. I didn't see it, but I just feel like the coach is going to be all over them. We need to play 60 minutes of hockey here, and then we get on a plane feeling good about ourselves. Or are we going to go home after losing 2 straight? They looked really good against the Canucks, and I watched the game last night. It's this optional misery, but I did watch the Canucks come back on the Avalanche last night, and I don't know if the Canucks are a good hockey team or the Avalanche are an average hockey. Like, I don't know fully what's going on with this Canucks squad. I know that their forward group is very, very good, but it takes way more than that to succeed. Just a good forward group. I'm interested in the Islanders' first period coming out strong here. But I don't know. At this point, I've done nothing on this board, so I'm a little antsy to get involved. Maybe we get involved here. 10 p.m. Eastern. San Jose Sharks 12-20-7, 8-10-1 on the road at the Anaheim Ducks. 11-24-4, 7-10-1 at home at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Let's see what Rocco's saying. He says Varlamov expected coming off injury, even if Sorokin, he's played so much lately. Angry Islanders team that's losing games. Angry Flames team that needs a win. Says maybe over the 5.5 will be a gift. Dav Fan says Islanders look like a good plus money spot to me. Better team, better goalie, need to save face after a bad night. I don't know if we can go as far as saying a better team at this point, especially with Calgary at home. I'd be the first person to throw hatred towards the Flames. I think we need this. I think it's a very tough call. If you would have said at the beginning of the year that the Islanders were a better team than the Flames, you wouldn't have got a bunch of people agreeing with you. But I like your lean. There's BT in the house as a family. Life is happening. Can't support the show like I used to. Keep crushing cards, y'all. You're doing it right now, BT, supporting the show. So, life is happening, and this is a tough time of year for a lot of people. And sending love your way, BT. Thank you for dropping in and saying what up. Let's talk about this spot at the Honda Center. Capo Kakinen versus John Gibson. Kakinen is listed. I don't know if he's going to be in. He's been terrible. 4-7-3, 3.71 goals against average, 8.72 save percentage, 1 shutout. Gibson 7-16-3, 3.81 goals against average, and there's the save percentage that's dipped over 9. 901 save percentage, 1 shutout. San Jose power play 21.6%, penalty killing 84.1%. Really nice special teams over there. But that's the only good thing you can say about the squad. Anaheim power play at 16.1, penalty killing at 71.3. Their power play is getting better, and it's Mason McTavish. And why isn't it very good? I mean, it didn't make sense that it was so atrocious at the beginning of the year. When you look at the pieces they have with Zegras and Terry, they have scores, they have snipers, and McTavish is going to be a monster. And then you look at Fowler's being a great power play defenseman. They bring in Klingberg. He's been atrocious this year, unbelievably bad. But these guys have always been good on the power play. Slatsy says Capo Kakinen starting for the Sharks, 4-0 to the over last 4. Sharks 11-5 last 6 in Anaheim. Definitely on the over here. That's from our guy Slatsy. Mike M saying San Jose won 7 in a row at the Honda in the first period, covered 8 in a row on the puck line. The Ducks snapped their 2-game losing streak with an impressive 2-0 win at home on Wednesday night. Gibson made 35 saves in the win and was spectacular. Let's take a look at the line history here and then hand it over to Babano and then move into college basketball. What we have here is the Sharks opening up at minus 132. They're now minus 144. It's hard to fathom that you could want the Sharks as a road favorite. But I understand why people would. It's just hard to believe here, but that's where they are in the market moving towards them. This total opened up at 6.5. 6.5. There's been a 2-cent move to the over. It's juiced to the under. It's too bad they're not hanging a 6 here for this one. Take it away, Bobano. Sharks, Ducks.
Yeah, and this is a ESPN Plus exclusive, this game. So just make sure you're aware of that. It's ESPN Plus that has this game on, and only ESPN Plus. It's actually the guy that calling the game tonight here is Roxy Bernstein. I never knew that guy did hockey. It's like usually a college basketball announcer, but cool. It'll be interesting to hear him call a hockey game. But this one, I like the over also. I mean, 6.5 is the total here. Let me just see what the best price is. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I think I've been on the over in every Sharks-Ducks game this year. I know they played each other 3 times this year, November 1st, November 5th, December 9th. All 3 games go over the total, 6-5, 6-5, 5-4, 6-1. were the scores in those 3 games. San Jose's just been an over machine. I think I've had San Jose over the total. The Dallas game, I didn't take the over. I think I took the Stars team total over in that one. But every other recent San Jose game pretty much have been on the over in them, including the last one against Chicago on Sunday night. They've had time off, actually. They were in Chicago. They get back to the West Coast here, play Anaheim. So they've been off for 4 days. They're 1-5 on extended rest this year, San Jose. So believe it or not, with the longer rest between games, they've been worse. So that's a little troubling. I could only look at San Jose from a side perspective but I don't know if I can do it with Kakkonen. Kakkonen's been caca. He's been awful. I can't back San Jose right now with him in net. That being said, I'm not taking Anaheim and trusting them to win 2 in a row. They never do. They've been brutal. You want to back a team that's 24-56 off a win, last 80 off a win, 24-56? That's absolutely terrible. That is absolutely brutal for Anaheim. They can't string wins together. So to me, don't worry about a side. Trust both teams to score. Trust that John Gibson can't play 2 good games in a row because he doesn't. Last time we got all excited about a great John Gibson performance, remember when he stole that game against Vegas a few weeks ago? He stole the game, clearly. He was excellent. You know what he did the very next game? I think he gave up 6 to Nashville. Yeah. You can't trust him to have 2 good games in a row. Kakkonen, he's been in bad form. Both teams get their goals, in my opinion. 4-0 to the over in the last 4 head-to-head meetings between these 2 teams. Don't overthink it. For me, stay off the side, go with goals, go with the over.
I get it. That stat is hilarious of what the Ducks have done after a win because I want to back them. But look, if I was to back the Ducks here, they won, 24 of their last 80 games after a win. I want to back the Islanders' first period. They haven't cashed the first period in their last 5 games. I mean, now the thing is you're getting plus money on both. But I'm not going to the Ducks. I just can't trust this squad.
It's one of those games where I remember taking Anaheim one time after they won against Carolina, and they came back, and it was San Jose they played. It was the last time they played San Jose. They beat Carolina at home. I couldn't believe how impressive they were. And I said, maybe this is going to get Anaheim going. They had San Jose the next game. I'm saying they got San Jose. It's a winnable game. San Jose's not very good. They got bombed 6-1 by San Jose in that next game. And I'm like, I'm never again trusting this team, after a good performance. And I feel that way again here. Like, I kind of want to take this price with Anaheim, with Kakkonen and net, who I don't like. Gibson, maybe he can play 2 good games in a row, but I've just seen it too many times. They don't withstand prosperity. They just don't.
Get you over 6.5 at plus 105.
Yeah, that's good. Plus 105 over 6.5 bet online. Yep, perfect.
Plus money. So that's NHL. We're going to get into NCAA basketball, where we've been very, very good on the show. And let's just review NHL here. Maybe I just need to take a night off of hockey. I hate saying that, but Bobano is on the over 6 at minus 120 in Nashville, Washington. Tampa, Winnipeg, we stayed off. Bobano's on the over 6 at minus 115 in Arizona, Chicago. I have interest in the Islanders' first period. I just can't believe I've started like this year. Bobano's on the over 6.5 at plus 105 in San Jose, Edmonton. And
San Jose, Anaheim.
Oh, sorry. Yes, San Jose, Anaheim. I do expect us to have really strong records come the end of the year, and it's going to be easier for me than it is for Bobano because he only gets
a great season, just bad Fridays, unfortunately. Yeah. Friday's always a tougher card. It always is.
But there you have it. Let's get into college basketball. There's DC Capper in the house, cashed the under 141. Imperative to get on some of these totals early, and great job doing that. DC Capper. We've been very successful here in college basketball. Bobano, you are 26-17 on the show, hitting at 60.5%, plus 7.08 units ROI, plus 16.47% average line, minus 111. And I'm also over 60%. I'm 38-23, hitting at 62.3%, plus 12.75 units ROI, plus 20.90%. San Francisco first half. I've been doing that so well. Finding spots where I know that the team was looking ahead. I can excuse the poor play before, and I got to keep that going and maybe transfer that to more of these sports. Mo Harris giving DC Capper a shout out. JP says second and third period are where goals are scored. Says I'll camp out on the overleans, look for 5.5s live. Betting NHL has been money for me. I love hearing that, JPZ. All right, so let's continue the success. Now we have 14 games here, We have time, and I'll control pace if I think we're going a little too slow. We got Durrell coming up next for NBA, and we are capping each and every game here on the board. So let me bring up Sports Insights. There we go. Move over to NCAA basketball. We're here, so I'm just going to refresh it, see if that helps here. Okay, let's get to work. Bobano, we start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Western Michigan Broncos 4-10, 0-1 in the MAC. At Toledo Rockets 9-5, 0-1 in the MAC. We're at Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. The Western Michigan Broncos playing at a very slow pace, 66.9 possessions a game. But you have to think it's going to be Toledo that will control the pace, and they play very fast, 74.7 possessions a game. Let's start with the line history here for this one, and then we'll go over to the cash flow and then make a move. And let's go. Here we go. Get this up. And there it is. So Toledo, obviously big favorites. Opening up at minus 15.5, now minus 16. That's at Bookmaker. Let's see what BetOnline's done with it. They've opened up 15 and 16. Interestingly enough, it did go down to 14.5, and then money started coming back in on Toledo. Pinnacle at 15 and 16 as well. Pinnacle opened this total at 156. It got up to 157 and dropped down to 155, but it's back exactly where it started, 156. Just a little juice to the under. Take a look at the cash flow here. 2,534 tickets. One of the fun things about these Fridays is these smaller schools. We thought we were going to have Horizon and Ivy League and all this stuff, but there's tickets in. People bet on Friday, so the market does help us a lot here. And no game has been bet more than Western Michigan Toledo, interestingly enough. It has more tickets in than Stanford, California. So we have 64% of the tickets on Toledo and 96% of the cash. Then you have 42% of tickets on the over and 51% of cash. Western Michigan comes off its second straight loss. It was pretty good. 80-72 at Kent State on Tuesday as 18.5-point dogs. Toledo had their modest two-game winning streak snapped in a 90-83 loss at home versus Ball State on Tuesday as 8.5-point favorites. It was a fascinating loss. Terrell Riley's on Toledo team total over. Ryan Mueller saying Western Michigan have lost 15 consecutive games when playing in January. Listen to this, Bobano. They lose by 7 at home as 8.5-point favorites, and they shot 51.7% from the field and only turned the ball over 4 times. How bad is your defense that you can't win a basketball game when you play clean and you shoot over 50% and you're at home and you're 8.5-point favorites? Yeah, and that's just wild. Take it away for us here, Bobano. First game on the board, Western Michigan, Toledo.
Yeah, it's a Toledo game. That means I'm betting the over, 155. That's an official play. 11-1 to the over this year, the Toledo Rockets. And, it's just a team I bet over the total in every line game for them this year. Only one game against a slow-paced, bad offensive Canisius team stayed under the total. Now, Western Michigan's not going to push pace, but Toledo's at home. Toledo's probably going to get them out of their comfort zone. Push the ball up and down the floor. They got multiple shooters, scores. They're just great balance. They can score from the perimeter inside as well. And Western Michigan actually has gone over the total in 3 straight line games, including the last 2. Wisconsin, that game went over the total, 125. And the last game, the first game in the MAC conference season against Kent State, 152 points, 80-72. And Kent State doesn't have the offense nor the pace that Toledo does. So slowly but surely you're seeing Western Michigan's offense, after some struggles scoring the basketball early in the season, start to come around a little bit. Like I say, with a lot of teams, 155 is not a bargain. It actually is with Toledo, with the way they've been scoring. So the head-to-head series has actually trended under, but this is a much different Toledo team right now. I think Toledo wins. I don't feel comfortable with their defense laying 16. That still can be an issue with them getting stops, but I like this over 155.
Over 155 available at minus 108. Rogue Energy leaning Toledo. Chili Dog Dooley, thank you for becoming a member. Our guy, Chili Dog Dooley. We be pubbing member. Toledo team total over 86.5 is what Chili Dog Dooley is looking at. Says 4 out of the last 5 meetings have gone under 146. I think it's imperative with Bobano's angle that he expects Toledo to control the pace. And if that happens, then the over is in business. We have Slaughter in the house as let's run back the magic wheel. running it back. If the video gets 150 likes, you must type Leche into the chat. 4 $25 winners for members only. $25 winners for members only. Respect to our guy.
$4.99 a month to be a member, so you should be one. It's not it's not asking a lot. And look what you get. You get a chance to be in this giveaway and get $25.
I love it. I love it. Respect. And it's putting our guy Jose Bouquet to work here. He's panicking right now, putting the wheel together, getting all the names in. There's a lot of names coming in. We're not sure if Vasilevsky is starting. We think he's starting, but again, he, as Bobano stated in the breakdown, that Elliott played because in the back-to-back because Vasilevsky was sick. Okay, so there it is. Bobano's on the over 155 at minus 108. At this point, for me, I'm going to stay off the game, but it is interesting that it's dropped a little bit, and you have the main amount of tickets on the under. So some of the bigger bets have come in on the over. So I am definitely interested. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. We head over to the Ivy League, 7 p.m. Eastern. Princeton Tigers 10-4, 1-0 in conference play at the Columbia Lions, 6-10, 1-0 in conference play as well. We're in New York. Princeton playing at a pace of 68.9 possessions a game. Columbia playing much faster, 72.3 possessions a game. Princeton coming off its second straight win, 69-66 at home over Harvard on Saturday night as 5.5-point favorites. Columbia comes in off a big upset. Second win in 3 games, 62-60 at home over Yale on Saturday night as 14-point dogs. Look, I know that Columbia can play well in goal. And looks Stalock likely in net for Chicago, says Coin.
He's better than Mrazek, but it's not saying much.
Yeah,
but he has been better. Yeah,
but yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, let's take a look at the line here for Princeton, Columbia. Let's get it up here. We have Princeton opening up as 10-point favorites. They're now 12-point favorites. So nobody trusting what Columbia, or I guess Columbia falling back to earth. This total opening up at 137.5 now, 138.5. When we take a look at the cash flow, we have 1,368 tickets in. 63% of tickets, 64% of cash on Columbia, but the market's moving away from them. So the books are opening their arms up to any Columbia bets. 67% of tickets and 79% of cash on the over, and it's gone up a point. And, you know, I wonder. It feels like a spot where Princeton will have more control over the pace, and they play quite a bit slower than Columbia. Let's hear what Bobano has to say. Take it away, Princeton, Columbia.
Yeah, I could only take the road favorite, but it's past now with the line moving up from 9 to 11.5, 12 in many spots. Princeton's owned Columbia. They've won it looks like, 6 straight over Columbia. Covered 5 of the 6. 2 meetings last year, 15-point win, 22-point win for Princeton. Non-competitive Columbia in both of those games. I know Columbia, obviously, they've had non-conference. They had some decent performances, but they haven't played as well lately. They did have the huge upset against Yale, 62-60, 14.5-point dogs. Yale, always one of the top teams in the Ivy League, and they get the big 62-60 win. Great defense from Columbia, which hasn't always been there for Columbia. That great defense. It sure was against Yale. We know they push the pace. They don't always play efficient, though. Their shooting percentages as a team aren't great for as fast as they play. So a lot of empty possessions. Princeton's a pretty good defensive team. They could probably shut down what's been an offensive team that, again, hasn't exactly been crisp, been great and efficient offensively. They've owned this series. I lean Princeton, but now the number's just gotten too high.
Yeah, I agree. I lean Princeton too. I don't. It'd be fun to kind of fade what Columbia just did. In saying that, I don't know if I have the confidence. What do you think of the over in this spot? You were talking about Columbia's improved defense. Is that what's keeping you off of it?
Yeah, it's just totally neutral on the total. I could see it. I could see it going either way with it. Although it is a little lower than it's been in the past. I mean, these two teams last year, the games got into the high 140s, 150s, and this total here is 138. So I guess I'd lean over, but I don't love it.
All right. It does feel like a spot where the gambling public have made bigger bets on the over, and the market's moved it up a point, but Columbia's efficiency is nothing to write home about, even though they run at a higher pace.
Yeah.
130. Yeah, I guess it's a pretty tight line. I'll put a question mark beside it. Okay, let's move on. More Ivy League action. We head to the Quakers of Pennsylvania, 8-7, 1-0 in conference against Cornell. Big Red, 11-3, 1-0 in conference. We're in Newman Arena in Ithaca, New York. Take a look at the line history here for this one. Pennsylvania, Cornell. Get this up. We have Pennsylvania opening up as 3.5-point dogs, and they have not moved. It did go up to 4 for a while, but it's back at 3.5. So Cornell sitting as 3.5-point favorites. It's total opened up at 154.5 and hasn't moved. Now, let's see if BetOnline has done anything different. They've done nothing different, although this came out much earlier. So maybe we should stick with some of these spots with BetOnline, see what they've done with the spread. Opened up at 3, got up to 4.5. Wow. So Cornell got up to 4.5-point favorites, and now it's all the way back to 3.5. But it went from 4.5 to 3 both ways. Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at the cash flow for this Pennsylvania spot. They've given Cornell slight line value, 1,165 tickets in, and it's all Cornell. 85% of the tickets, 96% of the cash. 67% of tickets are on the over. Interesting that much cash and tickets are coming in on Cornell, and it came back. The books are saying, okay, we'll take all the Cornell cash. That's very interesting. Pennsylvania playing at a pace of 70.7 possessions a game. Cornell 73.9 possessions a game, playing fast. Pennsylvania comes in off their third straight win, 79-68 at Brown on Monday at a pick'em. Pennsylvania playing well. Cornell comes off its 4th straight double-digit win. They've been winning easily. They've been winning comfortably. 74-63 at Dartmouth, as 8-point favorites on Sunday. Barry Smith says Pennsylvania money line. Look at that for Barry Smith. Take it away for us here. Quakers, Big Red.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2 bets here. Over 150, over the time. I love Cornell over the total, especially when they're on their home floor. I find they even get because they are a really fast-paced team. They push the ball up and down the floor. But I'm going to go with Penn, the Quakers here as well, plus the points in this game. Let me just see the best we can get with both of those. Yeah, the over at 154.5, minus 110. And we'll go with Penn at plus. Oh, Caesars has Penn plus 4, minus 110. Excellent. So there we go. Penn at plus 4, minus 110 at Caesars. Keep an eye on this Penn team. This is supposed to be a team that was supposed to be pretty good coming into the year. Their best player, Jordan Dingle, was out for a month. All right. He came back the last game for Penn, January the 2nd, against Brown, and they got the 76-68 win. He makes them a lot better. No question about that. And now they got him back. Now he's got a game under his belt. I think that's going to make Penn pretty good moving forward. I think they're undervalued now as they get their best player back. And they have pretty much owned this Cornell team. I mean, 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 head-to-head meetings for Penn. Cornell is a pretty good offensive team, obviously, very good. Their defense leaves a lot to write home about, leaves a lot to be desired, I should say. They're not great defensively. Penn, I think when you look at it, they're a little bit better defensively. Offensively, with Dingle back on the court, they're much better. They can score. That's going to help them offensively. I think now's the time Penn goes on a little bit of a run, Dingle back, and you get plus 3.5, plus 4 with them. So Penn plus the points over the total for me.
You got them both. Penn plus 4. Bobano is on the over 154.5, and Penn Cornell. Huh. Wow. And the stat of the day, Penn's beaten Cornell 14 straight times. 14 straight times. A lot of love here for Penn, none for Cornell, which is going to give me some pause. I want to study this a little more before I jump in with you guys. But 2 spots, double up for Bobano. We move on, and we stay in the Ivy League. Dartmouth Big Green, 14-11, 0-1 in conference. At the Yale Bulldogs, 10-4, 0-1 in conference. There's Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy says he's on Cornell. And Isaiah B says Cornell covers on home court. Okay, nice to see that. John J. Lee Amphitheater, New Haven, Connecticut for this one. Dartmouth playing fast and playing poorly. 72.2 possessions game. Yale taking their time. Now, Yale's coming off that surprising loss at Columbia on Saturday night as 14-point favorites. So you'd think, of course, this is a great bounce-back spot for them, but the markets know that. Dartmouth comes in off its 6th straight loss, 74-63 at home versus Cornell on Sunday as 8-point dogs. Let's take a look at the line history. We have Yale as a big favorite here. Yale opening up as 16-point favorites. At Pinnacle, they're now 16.5-point favorites. Interestingly enough, it did go down to 15, but it's come back to 16.5. I wish I saw it when it dropped. This total opened up at 129.5. It's been a 3-cent move to the under. We'll just take a look at what BetOnline's done with this total. If they did anything, 128 now at 130. Wow. So BetOnline has it up to 130, a 2-point move from its opener. And Pinnacle is a 3-cent move to the under. C. James, thank you, my friend. C. James, now a member of Weeby Pub. And we have a giveaway going on right now. If you are a member, you just have to write Leche into the chat. We're giving out 4 $25 gifts. All you have to do is write Leche. There's Alec in the house, Galactic High. C. James, respect my man. Okay, so let's take a look at the cash flow here in this one. We have 1,165 tickets in, 72% of the tickets, 99% of the cash on Yale to bounce back. Then 60% of tickets, 86% of cash on the over. Interesting. Take it away here for us, Bobano. Big shout out to Isaiah B. Man. We don't die, we multiply. Dartmouth, Yale, take it away.
It's like that exhibit song. We deal, we stack, we multiply. That's what we do here at YouTube with Pub Sports Radio. It's honestly, we deal, we stack, we multiply. It's a great line for expressing what we do. Dartmouth and Yale. Yale's obviously going to look in a big-time bounce-back spot. Obviously, we know what happened last time they played 14.5-point favorites at Columbia. They lost 62-60. Now they're back home, and they have walloped some teams here on this home floor. They beat Howard by 46. They beat Vermont by 29. I don't know if I'd want to step in front of Yale tonight because I think they're bringing it. They're probably not in a good mood. Dartmouth's not playing well. 6 straight losses for them. That being said, when they've been getting these big underdog numbers, particularly on the road, they've covered a few times. South Florida, 12.5-point dogs. They lost by 4. 17-point dogs at UMass. They lost by 11. Feels like you're paying a tax for Yale here. But at the same time, they've destroyed some teams at home, and they're not going to be in a good mood tonight after losing to Columbia. Last year, though, Dartmouth and Yale played twice. Dartmouth hung in there, and Yale didn't win by this kind of margin last year in either game against Dartmouth. So it's a tough game. It really is. Back and forth I go. I'm passing.
Yeah. What about that first half? C. James is on it. What about that first half at 9?
Yeah, I mean, you would expect focus to be there right from the opening tip, after losing against Columbia's big chalk back home where they've been very good. So, yeah, I don't mind that, Yale. And obviously you'll get a better number. You'll get them in that, 8.5, 9 in the first half, something like that.
MDR 24. We know you support us heavy, man. You'll get your YouTube figured out, man. So no pressure from us. We know that you're always here to support us. And then what do you think? What's keeping you off the over? I say that because an angry Yale squad going up against a team that already plays with pace, maybe they move with a little more pace and urgency here, at least early. What do you think?
Yeah, it could happen. 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone over, so it's definitely potential here. Dartmouth doesn't play blazing fast, though. I mean, they're 143 in tempo. I mean, that's a little above average, but it's not like they're going bonkers up and down the court necessarily. But I think Yale probably, when you look at them, they've really been good defensively at home. Will Dartmouth score easily? That's the one thing. Dartmouth is 353rd in offensive efficiency in the country. There's not many teams that are worse than them. So, yes, it's fine and dandy to go up and down, push pace, push the ball, get the first shot you can find. If you're not making those shots and it's empty possessions, it's not going to help your over. So, I'm totally off the total. Don't really have an opinion on it.
I have some interest in this over here. I have some interest, and I have some interest in Yale first half as an angry group. I will think about it a little more. I'm certainly going to move on one of them. I'm not sure if I'll move on both. All right, let's move on to the next spot, 7 p.m. Eastern. We stay in the Ivy League for this Harvard Crimson, 9-6, 0-1 in conference at the Brown Bears, 7-7, also 0-1 in conference. We're in Providence, Rhode Island. Interesting, Nate, not as excited about this game as he was for UConn Providence. Harvard playing at a pace of 68.9 possessions a game. Brown, 69.1 possessions a game. Let's move over to the line history here for this one. We have Harvard here. Harvard opening up. Oh, shit. Sorry, that was Oakland, Northern Kentucky. Move over here. There we go. Harvard opening up as 1-point dogs. They're now 1-point favorites. So we'll take a look at the money line, get a better example. There's been very little movement. Opening up at -111, now -113. So this came out at 8 in the morning at Pinnacle. Let's see Bet Online. They would have brought Bet Online does not have this up. Wow. Wonder if maybe something's going on here. Total wise, it's opened up at 127.5, and it's now down to 126.5. Take a look at the cash flow here for this one. We have some line value for Harvard. More line value than anyone else on the board, but we're still talking a sliver. 68% of the tickets are on Harvard. We don't have the cash flow yet. Total-wise, 60% of the tickets are on the over and 80% of the cash. So we do have some big bets coming in on the over. Harvard comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 69-66 at Princeton on Saturdays, 5.5-point dogs. They covered. Brown comes in off its second straight loss, 76-68 at home versus Pennsylvania on Mondays, a pick 'em. And maybe that's a sign that the market is behind Pennsylvania because they looked much better there, as Bobano noted. Take it away, Bobano. Harvard, Brown.
Yeah, what can Brown do for you? Well, if you're backing them, cover. That's what you're hoping they can do. 3-3 at home, straight up 3-3 against the spread. Harvard avid 9-6 overall on the season, but coming off a loss at Princeton in their last game, 69-66. Although they did cover the number in defeat in that game. We'll see how they fare here in this one. I'm not a big fan of Brown. They've lost 3 of their last 4. They did beat New Hampshire, but other than that, they have not played very well the last few games. Penn, they lose 76-68 in their last game. Although, as I noted, Dingle coming back for Penn made a difference in that game. Last year, the team split the 2 meetings. The road team won both games. Brown won at Harvard, and of course, Harvard got the return match, 65-50 at Brown. I kind of lean Harvard here. I think they're the better of these 2 teams. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm leaning that way.
A lean towards Harvard in this one. And then let's take one last look over at Harvard. I'd like to get the money to know where the money is, but 68% of tickets are backing Harvard, and Harvard's gone slightly from dog to favorite, +1 to -1. And there it is, Mike M. Pimp slap play of the day.
Avid.
He's back in the Crimson here. Huh. Very interesting. Okay. And Dad Fen saying Harvard is a first half team. Definitely on this one. So Dad Fen moving on Harvard. And there's our guy, DJ Big Boss of Who Bangin' Sports. Big Boss in the house. All right. So Pimp Slap Play today has spoken. We have a lean towards Harvard from Bobano. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. Head over to the Metro Atlantic. St. Peter's Peacocks, 7-7, 2-3 in conference. At Siena Saints, 9-5, 3-0 in conference. Siena Saints team that Bobano has been backing here on Fridays, and much to his success. We're in MVP Arena in Albany, New York for this one. St. Peter's playing at a very slow pace, 66.7 possessions a game. Siena 69.6. Move over to the line history here for this one. See what we got. St. Peter's opening up as 8-point dogs. That's become quite juiced at times. Got up to -119, but it's back at -113. From a total scenario, opened up at 129.5 and has dropped to 128.5. There's C. James in the house. Said it has been too long. May I see the Dono train? I'll see if Jose has the Dono train ready to go. You're a good man, C. James. There it is. We're trying to get more children to watch as well, I think. So that was that Thomas the truck or Thomas the train?
What is that's Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah, Shining Time Station back in my day.
There you go.
Ringo Starr and George Carlin as Mr. Conductor. Man, I miss those days.
There we go, Thomas. in the house. There you go for James S. wants us to focus. Okay, James S., you got it. St. Peter's comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 73-55 at Iona on Sunday. Siena comes in off its 4th straight win, 70-61 at Fairfield on Sunday as 1-point favorites, playing good ball. But Bobano's always backed them here as a dog. Now we're in quite a different situation with them as 8-point favorites. Let's just take a quick look at the cash here. 68% of the tickets, 85% of the cash on the Siena Saints. 1,622 tickets in. Another shout out to C. James. Thank you, my friend. Take it away here, Bobano. Peacock Saints.
And Schemer. He was that bad guy on that show, Shining Time Station. I remember him too. Yeah, St. Peter's and Siena. Enough about my child life. We've got Siena. They're playing great. 4 straight wins and 4 straight covers for the Siena Saints going into this game. I'm definitely, they've been good to me, but they've been good to me in the dog role. They've been good to me in short favorite roles. Now they're laying big points, and they were 7-point home favorites in conference play back December 2nd, Canisius. Only won by 4. So I don't know if I'll be back on the Siena train tonight, but I know for sure I ain't taking St. Peter's. St. Peter's has got blown out by Iona, 73-55 in their last road game. They've blown out by St. Joe's, lose by 12 at Fairfield, whipped by Maryland. I mean, they've really not played well. They missed Shaheen Holloway. I didn't think this program would dip a lot without him going to Seton Hall, obviously, getting that coaching job, but not quite the same St. Peter's team this year. And I ain't stepping in front of Siena, but I ain't laying this many with Siena. So it's a lean to Siena, but and the thing too that concerns me about this conference, Metro Atlantic, is it's a dog-heavy conference. It really is. It's a very underdog-heavy conference. I get the heebie-jeebies every time someone's laying 8 points like this. I don't usually like backing favorites of this magnitude in the Metro.
Do you agree with this slight move to the under?
I think so. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. I mean, you look at St. Peter's offensively. I don't know how they're going to score here against Siena. Siena's a pretty good defensive team. Scoring on the road, especially 55 against Iona, 45 against Maryland, 58 against Hartford, 57 against St. Joe's. Have they cracked 60 points on the road, St. Peter's, since the beginning of December? They have not. And they've been under machines, 7 straight. So, yeah, under or nothing for me.
I'm going to wait till I see some information in the marketplace on the total. We don't have that information yet, so I'm going to wait on that. Rogue Energy on St. Peter's +8. He's on Akron +2.5. He's on Brown, and he's on Ryder. We'll copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us. C. James says it just went down to 7.5, so a lot of movement in the marketplace here. And I have a possible move on the under. Let's move on and stay in the Metro Atlantic. Quinnipiac Bobcats 10-5, 1-3 on the road at the Ryder Bronx, 6-7, 3-1 in conference play. We're in Lawrenceville, New Jersey for this one. Quinnipiac playing at a pace of 71.2 possessions a game. Ryder playing at a pace at 68.7 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here in this Quinny spot. We have a total that's dropped quite a bit from the opening line. Spread-wise, Ryder opening up as 2-point favorites, now sitting at 1.5. They were 2.5-point favorites. So this move back towards Quinnipiac just happened 30 minutes ago. From a total perspective, opened up at 143.5 at Pinnacles, all the way down to 139.5. And we're talking a big move. It moved 1.5 13 minutes ago. So all the way down to 139.5, which makes me want to know what BetOnline has done with it. They have not done it at all. Wow. So BetOnline opened this up at 142.5, so it's now at 141. It pays the line shop here if you are interested in the total. Big difference between Penny and BetOnline. Quinnipiac comes in off snapping their 3-game losing streak with an 84-65 win at Manhattan on Sunday. Ryder comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 61-59 at Niagara on Monday, as 1.5-point favorites. Let's just take a quick look at the cash here, see if that can help us at all. 1,368 tickets in, 29% of the tickets, 39% of the cash on Ryder, but we've seen that half-point move to Quinnipiac. And then listen to this, 67% of the tickets and 95% of the cash are on the over. And we just watched Pinnacle move to the 1.5 15 minutes ago. So a lot of different things going on here. There's Nasty Nate in the houses. How about that Celtics trifecta? It was a thing of beauty, Nate. Jay PCC's 141. I mean, that's fascinating. It's a very fast. Let's hear what Bobano thinks about the total here, because to see that much money on the over and Pinnacle being the book that we act as if they're the sharpest. To see them move, we might be ahead of the market on the under. But let's hear what Bobano has to say. Take it away, Bobcats, Bronx.
Yeah, the total's tricky because Quinnipiac's really trending over the total heavily. 5 of their last 6 games have gone over. Ryder, though, not exactly efficient offensively. It's a really tricky offensive team. I mean, they can really go into scoring droughts. Their offensive numbers aren't that good. 251 field goal percentage in the country, 278 shooting the 3-ball. Quinnipiac's very good from the 3-point line shooting it, and Ryder's horrible defending it. So it really ends up being a nice little matchup here for Quinnipiac, that they hit the threes. Ryder doesn't defend the perimeter all that well. Ryder's not good as a favorite either. 0-4 ATS, their last 4 is a favorite. 0-2 ATS, their last 2 is a home favorite. This is not a team I like to lay points with. Quinnipiac is, again, we're talking about an underdog in this conference. That's an underdog-heavy conference. Road dogs have been very good. You've got this team now off a big bounce back after losing to Siena at home as favorites. They beat Manhattan 84-65 their last game. They've owned Ryder 4-0 straight up, 4-0 against the spread. The last 4 meetings against Ryder. Go back even further, 6-1 straight up, 6-1 against the spread for Quinnipiac head-to-head against Ryder. I like Quinnipiac here, plus the deuce.
It's still 141 at Bet365. This is fascinating. What do you think of this move from Pinnacle to the under?
It's because Ryder is a really, really sketchy offensive team. That's definitely a part of it. And look, I think it's head-to-head between these two teams. We've seen a lot of unders. 5 of the last 6 have gone under the total between these two teams. Last year, when it went, last year the total was 148 between these two teams at Ryder in the first meeting, and it still stayed under, even though that game went to overtime, and it ended 77-70. So this is probably one where I would lean a little bit to the under, but I ain't playing the total.
Let's get you, Quinny. We can get you a 2 plus 2 at minus 105.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I was pretty sure 2 is the best that's out there right now. Yeah, that's fine.
20 plus 2 at minus 105 available 5 times. If I can get that under 141, and I might try to bet it during the show. I feel like, I mean, look at the last game Ryder just played against Niagara, and we'll be talking about the Purple Eagles here in a bit, but Niagara plays at the pace of 65.2 possessions a game. So, of course, that was set up for 119 points to be scored. And Mike M says, as a dog, Quinnipiac has gone under 4 of their last 5, too. He likes that under. Wow. I think this is one of those opportunities where doing the live show, studying the market as we're doing it, there's an advantage here. Knowing that Pinnacle just dropped it to 139.5. I have Pinnacle's site here. Let me just validate that here if I can. Here quickly. Let me move this over. And yes, they've moved it to 139.5. So I think we're a little bit ahead. Mike M talking about the great song from Peter Loshak, Riders of the Storm. Good call. Yeah, we should get that. We should get that up. No, not necessarily for today, but Jose, if you can grab that for us at some point, take a note of that. All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, Iona Gales, 10-4, 3-0 in conference at the Marist Red Foxes, 4-8, 0-3 in conference. We're at McCann Arena in Poughkeepsie, New York. DC Capper as his 4% top play here. Iona Marist under 137. Don't forget, if we can get to 150 likes, anybody who is a member and writes Leche into the chat has a chance for $25. We're giving out 4 $25 prizes. And there's Rodney Barton in the house. Great to have you here, Rodney. Wondering what moves you're making in the sports landscape today. We have NBA next with Durrell, but right now we're breaking down NCAA basketball here with our guy Bobano. Iona Marist. Iona playing at a pace 72.5 possessions game. Marist 68.1. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. The Gales in play, opening up here at minus 13. At that price, there's been a 10-cent move to the Red Foxes. We'll see what BetOnline's done with it. BetOnline opened it up minus 14, and they brought Iona down to minus 12.5. So let's keep it with BetOnline for the total, as we know they get theirs out earliest. Here we go. For the total, open up at 135, got all the way up to 137.5. being a point of buyback to 136.5. And Jay Peasy looking at Detroit Mercy. We are going to be talking about that. Sorry, a little message from our friend Timothy Murray, the Thoroughbred owner. He's got a close eye on the Tampa card today, and he's messaging me. Iona comes in off its third straight win, 73-55 at home on Sunday over St. Peter's at 17.5-point favorites. 17.5. Marist comes in off its fourth straight loss. It was ugly. 73-54 at Fairfield on Friday. It's 5-point dogs. They shot 7.7% from three and turned the ball over 20 times. 20 times. Atrocious play. Is this a bounce back spot against a really good Iona team? Let's just see where the cash lies here quickly before 1,419 tickets in. Public all over Iona. 86% of tickets, 89% of cash, and the market moving towards Marist. 67% of tickets on the under, and it got up to 137.5. So a confusing market here. Take it away for us, Bobano. Iona, Marist.
Yeah, this is one where I'm gonna rely on series history, and that's Iona's had a tough time with Marist winning games easily. It's been really remarkable. Marist is actually 5-0 against, and this has been some really good Iona teams and some mediocre Marist teams during this recent stretch the last few years. But Marist has covered 5 straight. Iona's 3 and Iona's 3-2 in those 5 games straight up. But the victory margin of those wins was 8, 7, and 3. So they have not had it easy against Marist. Not a single double-digit win in the last 5 head-to-head meetings for Iona against Marist. I like Marist here, plus the 12.5. I'm going to make that official. That defense, look, they cannot shoot it. All right. And if Iona gets going offensively, and the big fear is, you mentioned it in the last game for Marist, the 20 turnovers, they're done like dinner against Iona if they turn it over that many times, because Iona will turn those easy transition opportunities into baskets off turnovers. They thrive at that. They've got to zip it up in terms of the turnovers tonight, Marist. And if they don't, they're going to be in trouble. And they could lose this game in blowout fashion. But they have matched up well with Iona. They have been competitive with Iona in every recent head-to-head meeting. You've got them at home, where at least they've been a little bit better. Marist, I mean, they're a 4-8 team. They're struggling. They've at least been a little bit better on their home floor. And Iona really hasn't shown me much on a true road environment. They're 0-2 straight up in true road games this year. The Iona, they are the best team talent-wise in the conference, no question. I think it's them or Siena that are going to win the Metro Atlantic. Those, to me, are the top 2 teams right now in this conference. I mean, they've got inside scoring, outside scoring. I think their defense has gotten a lot better, Iona. But at the end of the day, they've still got to show it on the road here, because they've had 2 true road games this year at New Mexico. They lost by 8, failed to cover at Hofstra very early in the season. They were 3-point favorites at Hofstra. They lose 83-78 in that game. And keep in mind, Hofstra has been a little mediocre this season, up and down. So it's a lot of points to be laying with an unproven road team. So I like Marist here, plus 12.5. Bank on the fact they've covered 5 straight against Iona. And in those 5 games, Iona hasn't won a game by more than 8 points.
Yeah, it's a fascinating look. It's one of those, I think I may join you here to think that all this money would be coming in on Iona, 86% of tickets, 89% of cash, and the market moving slightly towards Marist. God, it just makes
sleepy spot too, maybe, for Iona, because they're rolling, they're playing good. They see lowly little old Marist now on their schedule that's lost 4 in a row. Iona's won and covered 3 in a row. Wouldn't shock me to see this one be sleepwalk city for Iona as well.
Rogue Energy says the under is also a great play here, and that's DC Capper's top play, Iona Marist under. What do you think of that total?
I wouldn't argue with it. Marist is certainly not an over team. They're not terrible defensively. They are terrible offensively, and Iona's a lot better defensively this year than they've been in some years past. I remember under Tim Kloos, the guy who was the head coach here many years before Rick Pitino took over. They didn't play a lick of defense, this Iona team, but they've played a lot better on that end of the basketball court this season. So I don't mind the under at all.
Yeah, the only concern I have here, just from a market analysis perspective, is that it started going up immediately. Now at 137 or 137.5, there was, books thought that was too high. Money started coming in on the under, and they moved it down to 136.5, but that initial move to the over it's got me a little hesitant. But I've certainly got asterisks beside it, especially if DC Capper's on it. He's been rolling nice. Let's move on. We stay in the Metro Atlantic. Canisius Golden Griffins, 2-11, 0-4 in conference at Manhattan. Jaspers, 4-9, 2-2 in conference. Draddy Gymnasium, Riverdale, New York. Two teams that play with pace. Canisius, 73.4 possessions a game. Manhattan, 72.6 possessions a game. Take a look at the line history here for this one. Canisius opening up as 2-point road favorites, now 1.5-point road favorites. From a total perspective, opening up at 142, dropped all the way down to 140, back at 141 right now. Back at 141. Mike and I'll answer that question here in a second, right after we break down this game. How about we do that? So let's take a look at the cash flow for Canisius Manhattan. Here we go. Where the hell is it? There's only 14. Oh, here we go. 1,064 tickets in. They've given slight line value to Manhattan. Listen to this: 77% of the tickets and 99% of the cash thus far in on Canisius. Let's move the half point towards Manhattan. No information on the total. Interestingly enough, Manhattan though has the cash money line bets because they're a slight dog. So 80% of the money line bets are on Manhattan, but just 36% of the cash. The market's confusing. It's small sample size. Let's just let it go. Take it away for us here, Bobano, Canisius, Manhattan.
Yeah, this one's fascinating here. Canisius, obviously a rough season, 0-7 on the road for them. And yet here they are, oddly enough here in this one, a 2-point favorite, a 1.5, 2-point favorite. In this game, which is kind of mind-boggling here because of that brutal road record that they've got. We'll see how they fare here in this one. The thing that's been awful for Canisius, but particularly in their road games, has been the defensive end of the basketball court, where they've been just shredded. In some games, they gave up 90 to Iona, 86 to Buffalo, 79 to Cornell, 97 to Penn State, 84 to Florida Gulf Coast, in recent road games. So it has been an issue for Canisius defensively. You look at Manhattan, they're coming off an 84-65 home loss to Quinnipiac. They'll be looking to bounce back. They had the loss to St. Peter's before that. They did beat Marist 80-69 on the road previous to that. Obviously, they had a rough start to the season. They had all kinds of issues with their coaching personnel. Defensively, Manhattan isn't very good. Giving up 45% shooting, really bad from three-point defense, and Canisius can make their threes. Canisius is a pretty solid 35% from three-point range, 132 in the country shooting from the perimeter. So it's a little bit of a tricky matchup there for Manhattan. I think this game, I think Canisius could make their shots here, but their defense on the road's been non-existent. They haven't won on the road. I can't lay points yet. I do think the matchup does favor Canisius a little bit. So, but I just can't lay points on with a team that's winless on the road. What I do like here is the over. I don't really agree with where the market's taken this. 143.5 down to 141. I'm even seeing 140.5. No, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong game here. Hold on. I'm looking at Quinnipiac and Ryder total. Here we are. Yeah, here we are with Canisius and Manhattan. Yeah, 142.5. They have bet it down. 142.5 down to 141. 140.5 in some spots. I like the over. Last two meetings between these two teams went over the total last year. Both of them 80-75, 77-70. You got a bad three-point defense with Manhattan. Canisius can make their threes, in my opinion. You're going to get decent pace. These aren't blazing fast tempo teams, but they're good enough. They get up and down the court. They don't walk the ball up and down the court. They play with at least a decent amount of pace, both sides. Neither one is really all that good defensively. Manhattan's really poor defensively. As much as Canisius has been bad defensively on the road, worse defensively on the road than at home, Manhattan is 334 in the country defensive efficiency, which is just not very good at all. So I'm going to take a shot with the over here. That's the way I'm going to go about it. Over 140.5 minus 110 at Betway.
I can find you the 108 at Heritage, so we'll give you that one. It's interesting. This is an interesting spot. Galactic High on Canisius money line. Rogue Energy on Canisius. You have a 2-11 squad that hasn't won in conference on the road, and they're the favorites against the Jaspers. That's telling you a lot, and a lot of the gamblers are supporting it. backing them here. 99% of the cash on the early numbers from Sports Insights. So,
and again, they have a big matchup advantage with their perimeter shooting, which is significant. Hungry for a win. And they haven't won on the road, Canisius, but Manhattan is bad enough they could lose this game, and especially when their weakness defensively plays into Canisius's strength offensively in this game, which is also why I like the over. And I think Manhattan, on their home floor, Manhattan will score, I think, on this Canisius team that's been giving it up on the road. So I think the over is the superior bet here.
Over 140.5 at -108 for Bobano. Fanatical Jim letting us know that Victor Hedman ruled out tonight due to birth of child. So that's big news. Thank you for sharing that with us, Fanatical Jim. And Turnsey gave us the Detroit Red Wings as his play of the day. Says they always play the Panthers tough. Let's stay in the Metro Atlantic here. Niagara Purple Eagles.
Tough ain't going to cash you a ticket, Turnsey. They've lost 7 in a row to Florida.
No fear.
Play tough all they want. That's not going to cash a ticket for. I wish you luck, but I'm just saying they've lost 7 in a row to Florida. Just saying.
Purple Eagles.
You love your Red Wings. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
8-5, 3-1 in conference at the Fairfield Stags. 6-8, 2-2 in conference. Leo D. Mahoney Arena, Fairfield, Connecticut. Niagara, as we mentioned earlier, playing at a very slow pace, 65.2 possessions a game. They're coming off their third straight win, 61-59 at home versus Ryder on Mondays, 1.5-point dogs. Fairfield plays slow, too. They have their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 70-61 loss at home versus Siena on Sunday as 1-point favorites. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This one opened with Niagara plus 3.5 -108. That's where they are now, plus 3.5 -111. No movement. This total opened up at 123. It is now juiced to the over 123. Interesting. Let's see if we get any information from the cash here. 1,115 tickets in, 54% of tickets, 86% of the cash is on Fairfield. Go back to this point spread again. So like a small juice move towards Niagara, but the bigger bet's coming in on Fairfield. Then from a total side of things, 60% of tickets, 94% of cash on the over. Take it away for us here, Bobano, Niagara, Fairfield.
Yeah, obviously, this is definitely one of those games where we can project both teams are going to have a tough time scoring. Both of them are in the 300s in points per game. I mean, Fairfield is just brutal in terms of field goal percentage, 343. Niagara is actually not bad defensively here going into this matchup against Fairfield. And they got some momentum. They've won 3 in a row. They won their first conference game against Ryder. Actually, not their first because they played a couple, I think, early in December. Yeah, against Iona and Quinnipiac. They split those two. But then they beat Ryder 61-59 in their last game at home. I kind of like the idea of Niagara as a road dog. I mean, this has been a team that won outright at Quinnipiac as road dogs. They did get drilled by Iona. It was an ugly game, but they also went to St. John's, 15.5-point dogs. They lost by 8. They're a pretty good defensive team. They're awful offensively, but at the same time, Fairfield's actually even worse. If you look at the actual raw numbers, Fairfield's even worse offensively than Niagara, and you got to lay 3.5 with them. I made the mistake last year of taking Niagara in both meetings, and Fairfield won both meetings. But at the same time, I mean, Fairfield's really, really awful offensively. And I'm not saying Niagara's much better, but it's really bad in terms of their shooting percentages. Their effective field goal percentage is pathetic, 331 compared to Niagara. At least Niagara's 204, in that category. So I think it's a very, very defensive-minded battle. It should stay under, although it's a low total, 123, but points are going to be hard to come by here in this game. You look at the way the two teams are trending. I mean, we've seen 61-59, 67-55 in Niagara's last 2 games, both of those staying under this total. And Fairfield, they have obviously issues scoring. They've actually gone over in 3 straight, but Yale, Marist was 1, Siena, which is a pretty decent offensive team. That's not Niagara, so it's probably low scoring, but I'm going to move on Niagara here. Plus 3.5. I think it's a 1 possession game either way. I think that getting the full 3.5 is actually even better. Plus 4 at Caesars, Jimmy, we can find. Yep. Plus 4 -110 with Niagara. I think it's difficult for either of these teams to win by margin, including Fairfield laying 4 at home. Yeah. With that offense, no. I think it's a close game. I think it's down to the wire, worst case scenario. So I'm on the Purple Eagles here, plus 4.
You are locked in Purple Eagles +4 -110. Let's briefly touch on our friend Mike M's question here. We have 4 games left. We're 10 games through, and NBA is next with Durrell. He says, this from Mike M says, this side note combo, but you mentioned shutting down at 2:30 last night. How do you calendarize each day, or don't you? I'd imagine there's some sort of process to the day, and he wants to know from you as well. Bobano, for me, I like to do my prep work, my setup work at night. It's a little difficult sometimes when you're watching games. We get the kids to bed. We try to get them to bed around 8 or 8:30, 8:30 latest, and then it's just I work until 1 or 2 in the morning. Now, when you have action going on, it pulls you away from your work. I just find that I think so much clearer in the morning. So I wake up between 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning to then make decisions, basically, unless there's and do the most important work. But everything's been screwed because we're coming back from Vancouver or Victoria, I should say, and then the car gets stolen, and then Ella's not at school yet this week. So that's why I'm not. Everything's just kind of discombobulated. But that's how I've always worked. I think clearly in the morning. I like to get my action out in the morning. Unless there's like spots I know I'm going to move on at night. The night is for prep for my worksheet. And then the really thoughtful work is done in the morning when I'm thinking clearly. Bobano, what's your schedule?
Yeah, really, it's just I do my initial, leans in the overnight hours. I just look at games, circle them if I'm interested. And that way we cut down the amount of time we have to handicap in the morning. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's basically we'll end up just going through the games that I've got the most interest in. And I've already cut out the games I'm not really all that interested in. You can always go back and add something later on, but definitely that's the process, is that you formulate you get your first glances, your first looks overnight, and then you park it, you get your sleep, you wake up in the morning, and that's when you do your thorough research and analysis and handicapping, and you make your final decisions.
Yeah, well put. But I think it's important to find the schedule that works for you.
That's right.
I also
stick with it.
Yeah, stick with it. And I also really think that the most important decisions should come when you're fresh. And that for me, so I just do like the kind of banal work at night, and then the real thoughtful work in the morning. All right, 4 games left here. Next up, Oakland Golden Grizzlies, 4-11, 2-2 in conference. We head to the horizon here at the Northern Kentucky North. 9-6, 4-0 in the horizon. Again, staking their claim of the conference. We're in Truist Arena in Highland Heights, Kentucky. Richie Vegas driving 20. Yeah, that's why I didn't get the fucking theft insurance. I got a fucking beater, but whatever. Oakland pace 72.7 possessions a game. Northern Kentucky playing much slower, 67 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here for Oakland, Northern Kentucky, and then hand it over to our guy, Bobano. Here we go. Oakland opening up as 7-point dogs at most books. Let's see. Pinnacle opened them up as 6-point dogs and have moved them to 7. Total wise opened up at 132.5. It initially got up to 133.5, then dropped to 131. So it's right back where it started. Cash wise for this one, we have here we go. 1,368 tickets in. It's all Northern Kentucky. 86% of tickets, 97% of cash. Interesting here. We have 80% of tickets on the over, but just 41% of the cash. So you saw it go up to 33.5, drop to 31.5, and come right back where we started. And we have Earl Sports saying Colorado Avalanche to win the Central at +400. Wow. Looking at them getting healthier. Sky Dragon saying Colorado and Calgary about to skyrocket to the top of their divisions. Nate Cerna saying, I strongly feel Fairfield is a first-half team, so he took them first half. But let's talk here, Oakland, Northern Kentucky. Oakland comes in off its second straight win, 81-65 over Green Bay on Saturday at home as 12-point favorites. They've looked good at home and poorly on the road. Northern Kentucky comes off its second straight win, 55-42 at IUPUI as 15.5-point favorites. They didn't cover while holding their opponent to 42 points. Take it away for us here, Bobano. Oakland, Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, this one, I like Oakland here. I'm taking the points with the Grizz in this game. Now, Oakland's a team I have not at all at any point this year wanted to lay points with because of how shitty their defense was, and it still is not that good, but it's gotten at least a little bit better, I would say, the last few games. Even the losses they had, the You saw improvement. I thought they played well defensively against Michigan State Spartans. They only gave up 67. They got a big cover as 21-point dogs, lost by 13. They get back home against Milwaukee and Green Bay. That's about as good as they've played defensively all season in those back-to-back wins and covers against Green Bay and Milwaukee. They held them to 65 and 61 points, combined 45 of 120 from the field. That's impressive. Now, Northern Kentucky won and covered last year both meetings against Oakland, but one was by 9 in overtime, and the other was by 5. And they were dogs in that game. Now, all of a sudden, Northern Kentucky's laying 6.5, 7 points here. It's a big switch from one year to the next. And Oakland's starting to round into form, playing a little bit better. Look, you can keep in mind, you said they've been bad on the road. They did cover at Michigan State. They got blown out by Boise and Syracuse, but those are obviously, out of conference games. They did cover in overtime against Purdue Fort Wayne. Yes, they had some uglier performances November, December, but we see this every year. We see these teams that get off to these ridiculously bad starts, and then all of a sudden we get into conference play, December, January, and they start to, tick up. Their play gets better. And, Greg Campy is a veteran coach. He's been here at Oakland forever. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, this guy always gets his team to improve as the season goes on. So I like Oakland here. I'm going to take them plus the points in this game. We can get Oakland here, it looks like, as I'm checking the odds screen here. There are some 7s, which is good. I like that. +7, -109 at Pinnacle.
You are locked in. Oakland +7 at -109. Rogue Energy says Northern Kentucky, in my opinion, is probably excited to play a team with such poor defense like the Golden Grizzlies. Let's move on. Detroit Mercy Titans 6-9, 2-2 in the horizon. At Wright State Raiders 8-7, 1-3 in the horizon. We're at the Nutter Center. Sweet, sweet Dayton, Ohio. We already heard from our guy Jay Peasy, and Jay Peasy was looking at Detroit +5. I can't. He says he likes Detroit +5. Says a lot of points. I guess he's talking about the Golden Grizzlies, not the Detroit Mercy Titans. Okay, I get it. Let's talk about the Titans here against Wright State. Detroit playing at a pace 69.9 possessions a game. Wright State flying, playing at a pace of 74.6 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have Detroit Mercy opening up as 3.5-point dogs. They're now 4-point dogs. This total opened up at 153. It's now at 154.5. And when we take a look at the cash here, we have 1,571 tickets in, 24% of the tickets, 28% of the cash on Detroit, 55% of the tickets, 88% of the cash on the over. And that total has gone up 1.5 at Pinnacle since it opened at 8:22 last night. Mercy comes in off its 4th loss in 5 games, 84-81 at home versus Milwaukee, 7-point favorites on Saturday. Wright State, with a little bit of less rest, they come off their 3rd win in 4 games, 82-68 at IUPUI on Monday. That's 15.5-point favorites. They didn't cover. Take it away for us here, Bobano. The Titans versus the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm on Detroit and the over. It's a double-up spot here. Detroit plus the points over the total. By the way, it's been definitely an over series history. 4 of the last 5 have gone over. 155, 157, 163, and a whopping, the one was like 190 points they got to. So there's been some high-scoring games in this series history. Neither team is any good defensively. Detroit's horrible defensively. To be honest, Wright State's not much better. And the real concern for Wright State is they're worse at defending the 3. Detroit's really good shooting the 3. 54th in the nation, 37.4% from 3-point range. They'll be able to make some long-distance perimeter shots, and I think that keeps them in the game here against Wright State. Wright State has been inexplicably bad at home lately as well. They've already played 2 Horizon League home games. 12.5-point favorites against Robert Morris. They lost by 21 outright as 12.5-point favorites. 2-point favorites against Youngstown State. They lose 88-77 in that game. Terrible defensively in both of those games. So Detroit can stroke it from long distance. They're a very good offensive team for as porous as they've been at times defensively. I think that 3-point shot keeps them in this game. I like them with the points, and I like a lot of points from both sides here as well. So we'll go with Detroit plus the points, and we'll go with the over here as well.
Got you +5 at -105. The over 154.5 -108. And JPZ, there's fives now. There's fives available to bet, and it looks like this over is the right look. Right going to be controlling the pace. Poor perimeter defense. Detroit can hit the threes to keep in it, and the market concerned about the total and moving it up. I think all signs point to moving on the over, and I would like to join you on that one. Let's go. 2 games left. Next up, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Akron Zips 9-5, 1-0. We head back to the MAC for this against the Ball State Cardinals 10-4, 1-0. Worthen Arena in Muncie, Indiana. Take a look at the line history here. Both teams playing at a very similar pace. Akron 68.9 possessions a game. Ball State 68.6 possessions a game. We have this total. Well, we'll start with this side. Side opening up. Ball State -1.5. They got up to 2.5. They're now at 2. From a total perspective, it opened up at 133.5. Hasn't moved. It jumped up to 134.5 for a bit. But just for you guys to know, BetOnline did open this up at 135 and has dropped it 2 points to 133. And maybe we should only use BetOnline because they get their lines out so much earlier than Pinnacle here. We can discuss that as we move forward. But here we go. Akron, Ball State, 1,571 tickets in. They've given Ball State slight line value at Sports Insights. But 49% of tickets and 77% of cash is on the Zips. 80% of tickets are on the over. We don't have a cash flow there. Akron comes in off its second straight win. 76-51 at home versus NIU on Tuesday's 13-point favorites. They look very good. Ball State comes in off their 6th straight win, 90-83 at Toledo on Tuesday as 8.5-point dogs. We talked about that spot because Toledo shot 51.7% and only turned the ball over 4 times and yet lost to Ball State. Rogue Energy says, Akron, baby. Take it away here for us, Bobano. Akron, Ball State.
Yeah, Akron has owned Ball State, but Akron is not in the form that Ball State's in right now. So it's tough. Series history says you got to bet Akron. You have to. They've won 5 in a row against Ball State. They've covered 6 in a row against Ball State. Dominated this series. But Ball State's in torrid form right now. They've ripped off 6 straight wins after a bit of a slow start. They've been excellent in conference play. A huge win, great win against a very good Toledo team. A 90-83 on the road, winning outright as 8.5-point dogs. It's a pretty simple pass here in this game. I mean, Ball State's in better form. I ain't stepping in front of them, but Akron has really done well and dominated head-to-head against Ball State, so it's an easy pass for me. Same with the total.
We head over to the Pac-12 for the final game of the college basketball card. Bobano, excellent job breaking down all 14 on the Friday slate. Stanford Cardinal 5-9, 0-4 in conference. At the California Golden Bears, 2-13, but 1-3 in conference. We're at the Haas Pavilion in Berkeley. Stanford playing at a pace 69.4 possessions game. Cal playing very slow, quite slow in comparison, 66.3 possessions a game. This opened up with Stanford as 8-point favorites. They become 9-point favorites. Total-wise opened up at 125.5. Has dropped to 123. Take a look at the cash for this one. 2,230 tickets in. 52% of tickets and 97% of the cash is on the Golden Bears, but the market's moving towards Stanford. Books seem to be very pleased taking this Cal money. 78% of tickets are on the under. We don't have a cash flow there yet. Stanford comes in off a 2nd straight loss in 3rd and 4 games. 71-66 at home versus Utah on Saturday as 3-point favorites. California comes in off its 2nd loss in 3 games. Didn't they beat? I think I have that wrong. Didn't they beat Colorado? I know they beat Colorado. I think I'm just tripping with the writing that down wrong. 80-76 at home over Colorado. There it tells you. Over Colorado as on Saturday's 10.5-point dog. So they beat Colorado. I was beating myself up all night last night for not backing Colorado yesterday. Of course, they're going to bounce back after the embarrassment against California. But I don't know what to make of the win from California other than Colorado completely overlooked them because California committed 21 turnovers in that loss. I mean, they played poorly but got the W. Now you have a bunch of backers of the Golden Bears, but the market moving towards Stanford. Books opening up their arms to California Golden Bears money. Let's see how Bobano bets it. Big shout out to Razor Sharp Picks in the chat. Take it away, Bobano, Stanford, California.
I sure as hell am not laying points with Stanford on the road. I can't do it. As the series history points that you shouldn't do it either. Cal's actually played Stanford well. 53-39 at home last year against Stanford. Stanford scored 39 points. Think about that, 39 points. And they're not very trustworthy offensively, Stanford, right now either. And they're asking them to lay. And look, Cal is I think a little undervalued right now. They've covered 3 of their last 4 after that dreadful start. They still not are still not a great offensive team, but the defense is not bad. Starting to actually score the basketball a little bit more than they did early in the year. Again, the series history has been Cal covering 3 of the last 4. The 2 Stanford straight-up wins since the beginning of 2001, were 21, I should say, were by 7 and by 6. They haven't been able to beat Cal by margin. I'm actually going to make Cal official here in this one. Cal plus the points. Cal plus 8.5, I think, is actually it's up to 9 now at several spots. So yeah, I like Cal here. Plus, and look, they're coming off a little bit of a confidence-inducing win. And like I said, there's been really no evidence in recent head-to-head meetings that Stanford's able to beat this team by upwards of double digits, which they're going to have to do. So, yeah, I'll go with Cal here, plus 9, minus 110.
We'll get you the minus 105 over at 5 dimes, and we will give you that right there. A look from our razor sharp picks. He's on the 3 to win at Gulfstream Park Race 3. It pops off in 19 minutes. That horse is 10 to 1. 10 to 1 look for Razor. Let's review all action before we get into NBA with It's Durl. 14 games broken down in NCAA basketball. I'll review the NHL once again at the end of the show. But for NCAA basketball, Bobano's on the over 155 at minus 108 in Western Michigan, Toledo. I am very interested in the over in Princeton, Columbia. And then Bobano's on the over 154.5 and Pennsylvania plus 4. I'm interested in the over in Dartmouth, Yale, and also Yale first half. That's what I'm looking at for that spot. Pimp slot play today is on Harvard at a pick'em. I'm interested in the under in St. Peter's, Siena. Again, I'm going to just take a second look, get a little bit more information from the market, and then bet these as soon as the show ends. So I'll put it on Twitter. And then Rogue Energy moved on Brown, Akron plus 2.5, Ryder, and St. Peter's plus 8. I am moving on the under 141 if it's still available in Quinnipiac, Ryder. If it's down to the 139.5 that Pinnacle dropped it to, I'll let go. Bobano moved on Quinnipiac plus 2 at minus 105. Bobano's on Marist plus 12.5 minus 105. I'm tailing that. I've got asterisks beside that. That's going to be a move I'm on. DC Capper gave us Iona Marist under 137. That's his top play. Bobano's on Canisius and Manhattan over 140.5 minus 108. He's on Niagara plus 4 at minus 110. Oakland plus 7 at minus 109. He's on Detroit plus 5 and the over 154.5 in Detroit Wright State. I'm joining him on the over. This is going to be fun. Lots of college basketball action for me tonight. Akron, Ball State, we stayed off. Bobano's on California plus 9 at minus 105. Spectacular job, Bobano. You've been so consistent across so many sports with me here. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of. You are leading the NFL Pub Hub going into the final week of the regular season. Are you available on Sunday?
Yep, I will be there. We got to finish off the season and hopefully finish it off on the winning note, which it's still on pace to be my best NFL season ever. It's been that good, and hopefully we can finish it strong on Sunday, the regular season, that is.
That is, yes, the regular season. And we always want the man or woman who's in first overall to be on every show. So thank you for following through, because you've been on the leaderboard for a long time and coming on each and every time. So we will see you then. But, Bobano, you got a big day ahead of you. Talk us through your rest of the day on on here on Pub Sports Radio, and also touch on the big morning tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. NBA Pub Hub with me, Ski, and Billy Briz coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern. College basketball net profit with Connor Mack at 5 p.m. Eastern later today. And then, of course, the big college basketball Pub Hub show in the morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific with me, Connor, and Dabby Cab. Looking forward to it.
And that rolls into Dabby Cab's live bet stream for Kentucky, Alabama. That pops off. That'll be live at 12:45, so you don't need to rush it all in your morning show. And don't forget, tonight, Razor Sharp Picks and Dabby Cab, Brooklyn at New Orleans. So Pelicans, Nets, live bet stream. Great job, Bobano. Please follow our man Bobano on Twitter, at Bobano. Ian Cameron, great work as always. Enjoy the Friday night, and I will be in touch this weekend, my friend.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of the show. Durl will get you through the NBA card, and we'll see you later today for the NBA Pub Up. Good luck this weekend, everybody. See you.
There he is, Bobano. We go from Hamilton, Ontario to Los Angeles, California. It's time to talk NBA, and we got a huge slate ahead of us. Please welcome to the show. Usually our Wednesday guest. Today we got him on Friday. Going off on a Friday. Please welcome Daryl Rice. It's Daryl in the house. Daryl, how are you?
Yo, I am feeling a little better, man. Got some Theraflu in my body, and I'm on some orange juice, so I got my throat with me, man. It's been a rough couple of days trying to battle this flu, man. But as always, man, I'm happy to be here. Any day on this side of the grass is a
good day.
It's a good day, bro. So I'm not gonna complain. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. I don't have my comments up, so I can't see y'all. But per usual, Jimmy, it's always good to sit and talk ball with you, man. Always good. So it's a big slate, and I've got some looks here already. So yeah, man, happy to talk about ball with you, man. Let's get into it. Let's get to work. Let's get to work.
You've been running very nice on the show. Billy Brisbane says flu game, Daryl. Let's cash. Daryl running nice. Daryl seeing the board really clean. We'll have all the records up. I went into the week that I missed and got all those records in. So I'm very close to having everything together. But you've been running real nice. Let's get right to work. We have a huge card. Thank you guys for joining us here on Pub Sports Radio. Don't forget, if we get to 150 likes, we are giving out 4 prizes of $25 to members of Pub Sports Radio, and they have to type in our chat. They have to type Leche. That's it. They have to type Leche into the chat. There's LJ from H-Town. You can see the great NBA cappers coming together here for this great breakdown. So let's get right to work here. We move over to NBA here. There we go. And let's get this over to NBA as well. First thing that jumps out at me, 2 teams with full line value. And according to Sports Insights, one is the plug your nose Charlotte Hornets. The other is the Chicago Bulls. We'll talk about that. But let's get right to work here. 7 p.m. Eastern, Portland Trailblazers, 19-18, 10-12 on the road at the Indiana Pacers, 21-18, 13-7 at home at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Indianapolis, Indiana. Portland 2-3 over their past 5, playing at a pace of 101.2 possessions a game. Indiana 4-1, playing at a pace at 99.62 possessions a game. Portland opening up here at Pinnacle at +1.5. They're now at +2. From a total scenario, they opened up at 234, and they're all the way up to 237. That's an extremely high total with the pace that they're both running. I know Portland at 101, but Pacers 99.62. I know there's efficiency involved, but that's a very high pace. 5,100, sorry, very high total. 5,170 tickets in. 79% of the tickets in. 89% of the cash on the Pacers. A lot of love for the Pacers in the marketplace, and that's moved them a half point. That's it.
Half point, right.
65% of the tickets and 72% of the cash on the over, in the market concerned and moving in that direction. Portland comes in off its second loss in 3 games on Wednesday, 113-106 at Minnesota. Dame goes for 27, Grant 26. Grant looking beat up, dealing with left quad contusion. Pacers had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 129-126 overtime loss at the Sixers, who were playing without Joel Embiid. Buddy Hield, 24 points, 6 threes. So it's 7 straight games that he's gone for at least 4 3-pointers. Those of you in the player prop market, leads the NBA with 152 made 3-pointers. But look at this, the depth on this team. You got Mathurin with 19, Halliburton with 16 and 12 and 7 boards, Nembhard with 12. This is a team on the rise. A lot of money on them right now. Market not really moving. Floor is yours, Daryl. Blazers, Pacers.
So we know the last game, Portland got them, right? Portland got them last game. And something that's telling about Indy is they don't generally lose back-to-back games, right? The last time that they had lost back-to-back games were December 16th and December 18th. And I think that was against Cleveland and another squad. But after that, they go on a win streak, they'll lose one, they'll get their bearings together, and then they'll win a couple more. They may lose one, get their bearings together, and then a couple more. So really the best time to jump on the Pacers is when they have lost a game, right? So this is a perfect spot to take them, and this is why you see all the side on the Pacers. Something else about that over. Pacers, man, for the season has been averaging 116 points a game. They're averaging 128 in this last 5. 128 points. 129 to 114 against Atlanta. 135 to 126 against Cleveland. 131 to 130 against the Clippers. 122 to 114 against Toronto. And then they played in overtime and lost by 3 points to Philly. I like that Indy lost that game because it was a close game. That went to overtime was by 3 points. It wasn't a blowout. I think this is a good time to step on Indy, and this is why you see it. The only thing that does concern me is the fact that there hasn't been that much movement with everybody on one side. So, it is this kind of story that goes in and out with the Pacers, and that is they were a bet on or a fade squad in the first quarter. They kind of got that together. Then they lose the games again in the first quarter, even though they'll win games. So they're kind of up and down there. Not enough stability for me to either fade them or take them first quarter, because against the Trailblazers, they did lose that first quarter bad. So if we're talking about revenge game, if we're talking about anything with Indy, I think this is a good spot to take them full game. I wouldn't even be mad if you took the over on this game, just because the amount of points that are being scored in their last 5. Good time to jump on the over as well. Don't be afraid of that number, but no official play for me.
Staying off. By the way, Bookmaker and BetChris have moved this to the Pacers at -1. Now Pinnacle giving you the best line on Portland as it is right now is also a red flag. So feels like there's red flags on both sides. I can understand.
It's trippy.
Yeah, I can understand staying off a spot. AOD says first initial thought was backwoods. This mofo. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern, Chicago Bulls at Philadelphia 76ers. These Bulls 17-21, 7-12 on the road. At the Sixers 23-14, 16-5 at home or at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Chicago 3-2 over their past 5, playing at the pace at 100.03 possessions a game. And we've already heard Sammy Culmer moving on the Bulls +4.5. Philadelphia 3-2, playing at a pace of 98.45 possessions a game. Take a look at the line history here. This opened up at Pinnacle with the Bulls +5. They're now +4. From a totals perspective, it opened up. Jesus, can I actually believe this? No, that's wrong. Opened up at 228.5. The initial move was down to 227.5. Since then, it's just climbed and climbed and climbed, and now we're sitting at 231. 231. Wow. That's pretty wild. Let's see if the cash flow backs that up. I already told you that Sports Insights has given the Chicago Bulls full line value. 49% of the tickets on the Bulls, 65% of the cash. From a total standpoint, you have 83% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on this over. Dan Kelly saying that both Chicago and Philadelphia are playing their 5th game in 8 days. Mike M says 76ers have covered 6 in a row versus the Bulls, winning the first quarter, first half, full game outright. All for these Bulls. Leonard Porsche saying totals that close above 235 are 40-25 to the under. He mentioned this for the Hawks-Kings game the other day. I wish I had listened. I never take totals that high, ever. And that time the market kind of moved me towards that very upsetting. Very upsetting. By the way, I thought the under in that Celtics-Mavs game was the easiest bet that could. I mean, obviously it followed through, which makes it easier, but I could not believe that a team at home on a 7-game win streak that's playing at a pace of 96 possessions a game where they could possibly give you a 230 or 231 was just shocking to me, appalling to me. But let's talk about this spot right here, and I'll try to talk over my son crying. Pissed off out there. He's pissed off. The Bulls snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 121-112 win at home over Brooklyn on Wednesday. Williams, DeMar DeRozan, 22 points each. Vooch goes for 21 and 13. So the question is, who cares, really? I mean, Sports Insight's giving the Bulls full line value, but are you going to back the Bulls after what possibly could be considered a season-defining victory? Sixers come in off their 3rd straight win, 129-126 at home in overtime over the Pacers on Wednesday. Harden, 26 and 8 assists. Harrell, 19 and 4 block shots. And Embiid sat out with left foot soreness. The Sixers are 15-1 over their last 16 home games. This has got a ton of moving parts. Floor is yours. Darryl, Bulls, Sixers.
Yeah, you're not going to like this play, man. It's an ugly play, but I'm going to step on it only because of the recent body of work. The stat that you had mentioned about the Bulls covering the last 17 games, I believe, first quarter full game. The most recent game they played was October 29th. That first quarter score was 37-22, an absolute blowout. This game here, you're not going to see Joel Embiid. You're not going to see Joel Embiid. Do you know where Chicago does their best work? As of late, when they are away in the first quarter. They are second or third in the league right now in covering spreads in the first quarter. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The number right now has shot up in their last 5. They're averaging 29 points in the first quarter, but for the season, in their last 5, that's jumped up to 33. Philly is actually better away than they are home, as in Chicago is better away than they are home. So this is one of these things to where I'm going to look at the first quarter. I see that the line is starting to move towards Chicago's favor, which means there's some steam going to Chicago. You don't have Joel Embiid in there. You had Chicago beat Brooklyn, but we still have to understand Brooklyn's the worst rebounding team in the league. And I think if you take that big man out the picture, this gives the Bulls a serious advantage. Don't tell me that you're going to put Montrezl Harrell in there to do the dirty work and do the scoring that Joel Embiid will do, because he's not. You know, Montrezl Harrell is a small big. He's a small big. So he can get pushed around easily. I think that win against Brooklyn, who was streaking, is a good boost of motivation. Let this team know, hey, we could get with the best of them and win. And that's why I do like Chicago. First quarter, +1. I've already stepped on it. I think this is a good play here. They're going to carry that momentum in with this game. See if they get a little revenge here. Might not like the play, but I think that's a favorite play for me here. And I've already stepped on that. Chicago +1 first quarter.
All right, let's see what we can get you line shopping for this one. First quarter on these Bulls. We can get you a +1.5 at -108. So let's give them
I'll take it.
Give them the hook there, +1.5 at -108. Durrell is in business. Harold Williams says no Embiid. This has to be a Bull spot.
It has to be.
Wow.
I mean, it has to be. It really does have to be. You know, Embiid is that guy is the machine of that team. And he makes it so frustrating for people to play on the inside. But without Embiid, you got a whole different game plan. And of course, this team can win. They're still good enough to win, but it's a different team when you got Embiid out of the game.
Unfortunately, it does go against the rule of mine that I need to stick to all these rules with the amount of quantity available for us to bet on any given card. So I'm not going to back the Bulls off of a possible season-defining win. But Troy Torrance has said when the Bulls win a big game, they followed up with another. They beat the Celtics and Bucks back-to-back a month ago.
That's good.
Joseph Gomez says that Carter knows the Bulls are trash. He says he'd cry too. So Joe Chris in the house. Dan Kelly is on the Bulls first quarter team total over 28.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I can knock that.
It's always a very good thing when anything you have correlates with this man right here.
Right.
Troy saying there's more examples of the Bulls stringing big wins together if you go. By the way, Jose, you want to show off the wheel here? We get to 150 likes. That is the Wheel of Cash. We're going to give out 4 winners. Now, you have to be a member, and you have to write Leche in the chat to get yourself on that Wheel of Cash. If we get to 150 likes, we're giving out 4 prizes of $25 each. Maybe I shouldn't stick with this idea. Maybe you nailed it when you said when the Bulls can boss the paint, they can win the basketball game. They did that very easily against the Nets and were in control. It didn't matter what KD did.
It didn't matter.
And so, and there's our KD in the chat, Kadesh Dean, respect. But it didn't matter what KD did. And now you're saying without, and Embiid is out,
He's out.
The Bulls will bully the paint again. And if anything, we know what Vooch will do, but now Patrick Williams getting some confidence.
And he's shooting threes. So you're spacing the floor. It's ridiculous. I think he made 4 threes last game. Right? So when you got these bigs who could shoot, it gets a little more scary. It's scary hours at this point. So I like what I see out of them. Then take the revenge angle. Then take the whole fact that the Philadelphia 76ers have owned them. So I like them early here, only because when I see numbers kind of flip like the numbers have here, it just looks like it's a bull spot.
Maybe I should follow through, change the idea. Would you call the win against the Nets, who'd won 12 straight, a season-defining performance? Or am I going too far?
Me personally, when you look at that 12-game win streak, I think there were only 3 or 4 teams that were really, really good. I think you had Cleveland in that mix. You had Toronto in that mix. You had Milwaukee in that mix. And then you had Golden State without Steph. Right? Out of those 12, somebody would have to confirm those for me. But they were playing teams like San Antonio, Detroit, Atlanta. So just me personally, 12 wins is 12 wins, bottom line. These are all NBA teams, good or bad or indifferent, how people may feel about what teams are good or bad. Some teams were on the bottom of, the rankings versus other teams. And so to beat a team who's won 12 games in a row, which is really hard to do in the NBA, I'm going to change my mind and say, yeah, I would consider that. Even though they didn't meet as many good teams as bad teams, the fact is you won 12 games in a row. So all it takes is that one good team, which is Brooklyn. Chicago beat that good team to kind of get a winning formula and just repeat that.
Yeah, and have room in the paint to do your nasty.
Tell me this, Jimmy. Who do you think is better? Okay, take away that loss against Chicago. Who do you think is better in this current state? Philly, without Embiid, or the Brooklyn Nets?
Oh, God, Brooklyn. But as Dan was saying, Brooklyn was in a bad spot, and here you have, a Sixers team that, didn't play yesterday, has won 15-16 at home. So it's a better spot. You have, Chicago traveling to Philadelphia, Philadelphia staying at home.
So Philly isn't in a bad spot not having Embiid?
No, injury-wise.
Okay.
It's a bad spot.
But we're talking about situation.
Travel, freshness-wise. So, but no, you're right. You make salient points. I'm going to spend a little bit more time because I can't help but think about maybe I should just focus on the first quarter because that's where you and Dan are focusing on.
First quarter, get in and out. I work from start to finish on these games. That's where I just see the best advantage.
And there we go. Razor Sharp Picks cashing his number 3 at Gulfstream Racetrack. That was a morning line 10-1 spot that he just put out there. Hope you guys are following our guy Razor, and thank you for sharing that in our chat. Razor Sharp Picks, doing it. All right, let's move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. New York Knicks 21-18, 11-8 on the road at the Toronto Raptors. 16-22, 11-9 at home. We're at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Knicks 3-2 over the past 5, playing at a pace of 95.9 possessions a game. Very slow. Toronto 1-4, playing at 98.94 possessions a game. This opened up with the Raptors -3. They got up to 3.5. They're right back at 3. From a total perspective, opened up at 220.5 and has dropped to 218. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this wrap spot. 6,641 tickets in, and it's all Knicks money. All Knicks money coming in, and the market is not moving towards you. 63% of the tickets and 98% of the cash. For the total, there's 43% of tickets and 98% of cash on the under. At least if you're on the under, there's more tickets on the over, and you see the market moving towards the under. Here, if you're on the Knicks, You got to be uncomfortable with the market not moving. Knicks coming off their third straight win, 117-114 at home over San Antonio on Wednesday. Underwhelming. Brunson goes for 38, 17-27, 7 boards, 6 assists. Randall goes for 25, but he did shoot 9-26, 7 boards, 6 assists. RJ Barrett still dealing with the lacerated finger. Raptors coming off their second straight loss, 104-101 in overtime at home versus Brooklyn. I mean, they came back from 14 points in the last minute. I mean, it's this
crazy.
team is just wild. The Bucks were up 90-69 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left, and I stopped watching. It's crazy. It's
because why, right? Yeah, yeah.
But Gary Trent playing with Scotty Barnes didn't score a point until 15 in the fourth and 4 in OT. Van Fleet went for 28 and 12, so obviously his back's a little more comfortable. Trent goes for 22. And last time we met this team, the Raptors had lost 6 straight. The Knicks had won 8 straight.
8 straight, right.
Siakam went for 52.
52, right. In the Garden. They were in the Garden.
Yeah, and it's, not a lot of ballers have put up 50-plus in the Garden. Take it away for us here. Very interesting. Rodney M now in on the Lecce. $25 prizes if we get to 150 likes. Knicks, Raptors. Daryl, take it away.
No, I don't want to take it away. I really don't. I do not want to take this game away. This game, and this is the reason why. Something that's been automatic also is what? Knicks first half. They're like first in the league right now. If you're just betting them blindly, right? If you're betting them blindly, you are winning money. You are winning money with the Knicks first half and first quarter, but you are definitely killing it in the first quarter. Like, the thing that scares me is it seems like the Knicks, they just didn't show up to play. I don't know what you want to call it, man, but the Raptors smacked them first quarter and first half in the Garden last time they played. Now, of course, we're talking about December 21st, right before Christmas. So in their most recent body of work, in their last 10, I mean, Knicks are there, but it seems like the Raptors may have their number. It feels like, Jimmy, honestly, to just take the Knicks first half and just go to bed. As our boy Ski would say, just go to bed on this because that's where you're making money. I just don't like how badly they lost to Toronto. I don't like how badly they lost to them in that first quarter and first half. So at this point, I'm a little conflicted because I don't know if there's a little revenge angle here, right? If the Knicks want to kind of get it back and say, you know what, you guys got us in the Garden, we're going to get you back. But at the same token, I don't know if it's just a scheme that works against the Knicks to where the Raptors are able to get them. 52 points, man. They've got to remember that. The Knicks have got to remember that. So all in all, for right now, it's a no play for me because this team definitely had the Knicks number. I don't know if it was just a soft or bad spot for the Knicks, but I wasn't too confident just to play automatically Knicks first half here, so I stayed off of it.
Yeah, I completely understand why you would have uncomfort in this game. I completely understand. Mike M saying this is the biggest, highest trend on the card. Toronto's beaten the Knicks against the spread at home 10 in a row. 12 money lines is a favorite at home. 11 money. So the highest trend on the card. But I don't know how you could trust them right now. Again, remember, I spoke. This is the most important homestand of the season. If they don't go 4-2, they're going to sell parts here. Troy.
Well, you think so?
Oh yeah. This is if they don't go 4-2, immediate fire sale.
It's a fire sale
immediately.
Wow.
No, Masai doesn't rush. So Masai doesn't. Nobody pushes around Masai. So he'll take his time and he'll make the best trade, that he feels available. But yes, fire sale will start. Dan Kelly has the Knicks second quarter Knicks money line at plus 110. Joseph Gomez says Van Fleet props over if you think Raptors win. Troy Torrance asking about the members club here. So there's a bunch of things here we're doing. As you know, with these prizes, you can only get in on prizes if you're a member. But you're going to get priority during a live show. So anytime there's a star beside your name and you say anything, you ask a question, we'll stop. We'll stop if you're a member. And we have members-only merch. There's going to be members-only chat on some of our live streams moving forward. We're also going to be doing members-only shows in the future, and we're discussing how to do that. And then you're going to get priority at our live events. And we want to have lots of live events. And you're also going to get the undying love of all of us for supporting the channel. Knicks Raptors, I can understand just a concern. I don't know how you can confidently bet the Raptors to do anything. They're not showing consistency at all. But as I said, this is the most important homestand of the year. And did they turn a corner there in the third and fourth quarter?
And the problem, Jimmy, is that Knicks are solid in the first quarter, first half, but where they fall flat is the second half of the game. Right? They will go out and play a great 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters, and then completely lose it. So that's why I could, as much disarray as Toronto is in, especially with those last 2 losses against Indy and Milwaukee, I just feel if I have to bank on a team to not muddy the waters, man, I would still go with Toronto over the Knicks not to do that. But the Knicks are winning games.
And then Rob Free talking about that as well. So here you have all this money on the Knicks, and the market is not moving. In fact, it got to 3.5 for a bit. So you know what? I think it's last stand time for the Raptors. And Fridays are a really difficult spot. I feel like I'm getting closer to moving on the Raptors, and I hate saying that out loud. Kadesh, right now we have 6,641 tickets in. 64% of the tickets and 98% of the cash is on the Knicks. Why would I bother? Why am I going to get in the way of that? Like I'm some sort of, I'm just not going to get in the way of that. But if I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if the market doesn't move, it may be a spot. You know what happens when you trust the Raptors? You fucking hate yourself. So I don't know if I want to feel that feeling.
Just break out the Kraken, bro. Break out the Kraken, you feel a lot better.
No, because it's like, what happened to Daddy? Why is Daddy different? Why is he so angry? 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Brooklyn Nets 25-13, 12-8 on the road, and New Orleans Pelicans 24-14, 17-4 home. I can't watch the Raptors play basketball. I can't watch the Canucks play hockey. I change. I become somebody I don't want to be. Smoothie King Center, New Orleans, Louisiana. Robert Franklin into the membership. I love it. And Dan Kelly says, in my opinion, you should wait till halftime. I'm going to copy and paste that into my notes. So Robert Franklin, if you now answer Leche into our chat, you will be in for the $25 prizes. Okay, so
thank you, Robert. Appreciate it, brother.
Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Brooklyn 4-1 over the past 5, playing at the pace of 101.1 possessions a game. Pelicans 3-2, playing at the pace of 100.20 possessions a game. Respect, Troy. Thank you, my man. It means a ton to us. So thank you. It means a ton. Let's take a look at the line history here for Brooklyn Pelicans. Oh, this is our live bet stream with Razor Sharp picks tonight. You just watched Razor cash a winner in horses. Razor's going to be all over this game with Dabby Cab tonight. This is our live bet stream game. Pelicans opening up as 4-point dogs. They got to 4.5, back to 4. So that's where they stand right now. From a total perspective, this opened up at 230, now at 231.5. Rob Free and Troy Torrance are in. I love it. Thank you guys, man. It means a ton to us. I love it. So let's go over to the cash flow here for the Nets. 8,009 tickets in. 40% of the tickets and 70% of the cash on the Pelicanos.
Oh.
90% of the tickets on the over. And we spoke yesterday. We spoke yesterday of the stats. I'm just going to pull them up here quickly. We spoke of the alarming stats for the Pelicans when they are playing without Zion and Williamson. Maybe it was on Wednesday. Must have been on Wednesday. But their records are. I'll pull them up when we hear our guy Daryl talking. But Brooklyn had their 12-game winning streak snapped on Wednesday night in the 121-112 loss to Chicago. Katie 15-22, 44 points, one off a season high, and they lose. Brooklyn's won 16 of their last 18 games, and they hadn't lost a road game since November 2nd. Kyrie went for 25, but it was just 1 of 8 of 3. Seth Curry went for 22. Pelicans snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 119-108 victory over the Rockets. They were in complete control from start to finish. Zion out at least 3 weeks with a strained hamstring. Ingram has yet to return from a bruised toe. McCollum went for 28. Valanciunas 16 points, 17 boards. New Orleans 17-4 at home. So if I could just pull this up, let me just see if I can do it right here. The Pelicans spot. So this is their record. They're 7-2 in games without Williamson. They're 15-8 without Ingram, and they are now 5-1 in games they've both missed. Take it away for us here, Daryl. Our live bet stream game tonight, Nets Pelicans.
Yeah, I believe they're going to be 6-1 after tonight. Give me New Orleans +4. I've already stepped on it.
Wow.
This is probably going to be an ugly play for some. And I'm telling you, for whatever reason, man, these gut plays are just hitting. I believe where people would think that New Orleans is lacking, it's not going to matter when they're playing against Brooklyn. It just goes back to my earlier statement how Brooklyn right now last in the league in defensive rebounds. They're giving you 7.5. Offense, they're giving you they're ranked 18, and they're giving you about a 22, I believe. These games without Zion or BI, New Orleans is still ranked 9th in the league in offensive rebounds and 10th in the league in defensive rebounds. So they're giving you boards, which is one of the 4 factors of basketball, right? Dean Oliver's 4 factors of basketball, which you can create, you can measure, everything has its own weight, and you can measure that by how a team will perform. So even without Zion, even without Brandon Ingram, this team is being able to still get boards and still produce points in the paint, still produce point outside of the paint. You still got CJ there. You got a lot of moving parts for New Orleans that I think really, really, really matches up good against Brooklyn. Last time they played, you can call it a revenge game. Pelicans beat these boys 130-108. 130-108. Now, mind you, this is the beginning of the year. It's October 19th. A lot of things have changed by then. But when you look at Brooklyn, you lost to Chicago, but who did you beat? San Antonio, Charlotte. You barely beat Atlanta by a point. Mind you, the Lakers beat Atlanta. Okay? So that's saying a lot. Cleveland, they're another team that they beat. That was one of the good teams. I personally think this is a good matchup for New Orleans. They can run up and down the court. They still have Herb Jones there, who's really, really good in his perspective role on defense. You still have Grand Theft Alvarado, who's going to be a disruptor there. You still got, even coming off the bench, you got Devontae Graham, who can shoot threes. I mean, you've got some players there, man. I'm telling you right now. I believe this is a New Orleans spot. I've already stepped on the +4. You see that line actually going down. I'm probably going to look at something. What is the number for an alt line? New Orleans -0.5 or New Orleans -1?
Let's head over there right now. By the way, we can get you a 4.5 as
Okay.
well. But let's get over.
I've already stepped on a minus or +4 in my book, but I can't get an alt line. I'm curious to see because I'm going to make this official.
Wow, they've locked this game up. They've locked it up at Pinnacle. Let's see what. Oh, here we go. We'll go over to Bet365 for alt line here. Surprising lock up there. It's at 4 here. So let's take a look at the.
Ooh, I'm thinking somebody's sitting out. Somebody is sitting out for this game on Brooklyn side.
Pelicans -1 is +167. -2 is +180. -3 is plus 220.
Let's go the opposite way. This is a long shot for me. -3 Pelicans.
And is
So
that
give
the
it
only look? You're not adding it to your 4.5. You just want the -3.
no, I want the 4.5 also.
Okay,
so this is
plus 4.5 at -110, and then -3 at plus 220. Ooh-wee! This is fodder for our live bet stream. That's exciting. Zero making moves. Quickly on. I'll tell you guys. I got the money. Where's the money? He's got the money. Here's the cash flow for this one right now. Again, our live bet stream tonight. 8,111 tickets in. 38% of the tickets and 70% of the cash on the Pelicanos. Now, 85% of tickets are on the over, and there's been no move on it. Can you touch on the over? Because who is that? Jimmy Gomez says haven't capped the game, but feels like this game would flow to the over. What are your thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a totals guy, even though I really try to get there. I mean, I would still 231 doesn't seem like a lot for these teams, especially when one team put up a $130 against you already. So that's just kind of fitting on how when you're in the 230s, you feel safer if you're like between 225, 229. But when you get into 230s and this game is going to be a more fast-paced game, it's obvious, So I would have to look deeper and see what their shooting percentages are right now. What's their most current shooting percentages, where they are right now in their last 5. That would tell me if I would take the over on this game. Because if their shooting percentages are up there in their last 5, then it would make sense to just take the over. If it's under what their season average is, then something else is at play. I don't know what it is, but I would just look at what their effective shooting percentage is.
I like it. I'm rolling with you on the Pelicans. I've been talked into it. Hopefully I can jump on the live stream and have some drinks with the boys. I'd love that. I would love that. Okay, let's move on, though. A great breakdown. Really, really fun breakdown for our live bet stream tonight. Durrell, Pelicans plus 4.5. And our guy Mike M says, way to put your balls on the table, Durrell.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Back to our horse shows during the pandemic, placing our balls on the table for a big bet. Rob Free says, by play today's Nuggets first quarter, no Mitchell, no Garland. Eastern Conference teams only play there once a year. It usually takes 6 to 10 minutes to get acclimated to the thin air. Denver will be up 7. I've got that copied and pasted,
yes.
So we'll discuss that again when we get to that spot. But next up for us, and Sun Dizzle in the chat. Nice to see you, Sun Dizzle. 8 p.m. Eastern, Charlotte Hornets, 10-29, 5-15 on the road. The Milwaukee Bucks, 25-13, 16-4 at home. We're at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Again, for those of you just joining, if we get to 150 likes and you are a member, we are doing the Wheel of Glory. We're going to give out 4 $25 prizes if you write Leche into the chat. You must write Leche into the chat and be a member for the Wheel of Glory. Not to be confused with a glory hole. This is just a Wheel of Glory. That's what it is. Charlotte Hornets, 10-29, 5-15 on the road at Milwaukee Bucks, 25-13, 16-4 at home. Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Charlotte 1-4 over their past 5, playing at a pace at 105.3 possessions a game. Team is flying. Milwaukee 3-2, playing at a pace at 103.39 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this. Remember, I already spoke. Charlotte is being given full line value, as has the Chicago Bulls. Charlotte opening up at plus 10.5. They've moved to plus 9.5. This total's gone from 234 to 232. Take a look at the cash flow for this one. 6,286 tickets in, 45% of the tickets, and 99% of the cash on the Charlotte Hornets. Crazy. 76% of tickets, 98% of cash is on the over. That over has gone from 234 down to 232. So confusing market analysis. There's our guy Rocco Rogers. There's Ron Crawford in the house as well. Nice to see you. Charlotte comes in off its third straight loss, 131-107 at home versus Memphis on Wednesday. LaMelo Ball has been playing well, but nobody else has. Kelly Oubre hurt. He was averaging over 20 games. He was playing well. Gordon Hayward, just can't be relied upon in any circumstance.
He's cursed.
With hamstring soreness. Is he cursed?
He's cursed, bro. He's cursed.
Pussy.
Oh, come on.
Bucks come in off their second straight win, 104-101 in overtime at Toronto on Wednesday. You never see him battling through injuries. He's always like, my hammy.
Come on, man. That dude's leg. That dude's leg almost fell off in Boston. Come on.
Paul George.
They were holding his leg up by like some duct tape and Lucky the Green, whoever that mascot is over there. I don't know, but he just hasn't come back since then. Yeah, Paul George, you're right.
My hammy. The Bucks come in off their second straight win, 104-101 in overtime in Toronto on Wednesday. This is their third game in 4 nights. Giannis Antetokounmpo played in back-to-back games, which did surprise us. Dan Kelly, first half, Brooklyn -2. Wow. Take it away for us here. Durrell, Hornets, Bucks.
No, man. Nah, I don't want this game. I do not want this. There is absolutely no interest I have in this game at all. At all. I don't think Giannis plays today. I don't think you need him to play. Right? So I think that's why you might see the number coming down some. What has been really scoring or been making you money is if you're taking that Hornets team total under, because they can't get past the 115 mark in their last 5. 115 is the highest they've scored. But they're in the low 100s, right? So that's a trend that's happening right now is they can't get over the 115 mark at all. So just in general, Charlotte Hornets team total under is cashing. Where's the scoring coming from? It was coming from LaMelo and Kelly Oubre, right? But now that you don't have Kelly Oubre at all, where's the scoring going to come from? You can't have LaMelo do it all. So at this point, I would just look at that Hornets team total under, but in my opinion, I would need Giannis to play this game for me to even consider looking at it. But I'm not touching this game. I am completely off of this game. Peace and good luck to everybody and anybody who's going to play this game. I don't care what this spread is. I don't want to touch it.
All right. LJ says Bucks trend to over in the first quarter, 23-14-1. Also, it's dangerous to, I probably even shouldn't say it, but I wonder if there's 99% of the cash on the Hornets that somebody knows Giannis isn't playing.
He's got to not be playing. There's no way in the world, Bucks at home, that this number is going down.
Yeah.
Right? No way. You don't need Giannis to play to win this game. He's already played back-to-backs. Why would you even play him?
Wonder if, move on the Hornets. They announce Giannis out. Middle.
Last game they just played on the 3rd of December. Charlotte didn't even put up 100 points. Right? It was 105-96. Just coasting, bro. This is a game. It's either going to be Bucks or nothing. But why are we looking at a spread that large without knowing who's going to play? If you want to play the Bucks, just wait till see what happens with the injury report. Because if Giannis does go out, you'll probably move it another hook or a point, and then just take the Bucks then. I would even look at a live bet of this game. I was looking at the first quarter, but in my opinion, it's just too many points. Because at this point, you got to have the Bucks win by maybe 4 points or something. Charlotte is second worst in the league in first quarter scoring. Second worst. They might even be the worst now, so I would have to confirm that. But it was the Pacers and the Hornets. And so if you're going to look at a spot, take the Bucks early, but wait for the injury reports.
Makes sense. I do have interest, though, on the Hornets right now. I'll decide if I move on after the game, but it feels like somebody knows something about who is or isn't going to be in the lineup for the Bucks. And I hate doing that. So, let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. And then, God, I've handled the Hornets so poorly this year. 8 p.m. Eastern. Washington Wizards 17-22, 7-15 on the road at Oklahoma City Thunder, 16-22, 11-9 at home. Paycom Center, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Washington 4-1 over the past 5, playing at a pace of 100.70 possessions a game. OKC 2-3, playing at a pace at 102 3.2 possessions a game. Wizards opening up as 2-point dogs. That's 1.5 now. From a total perspective, opened up at 232, now down to 231.5. We take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 5,221 tickets in, 34% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the Wizards, but it's only moved a half point. So 87% of tickets on the over, and that one has dropped a half point. So market not indicating anything really helpful. Wizards had their 5-game winning streak snapped on 123, 113 loss at Milwaukee on Tuesday night. This is a rested group. They'll be without Beal again, as always. So he's going to miss at least 3 more games. Aggravated the left hamstring injury. My hammy. Beal's missed 50 games this season with a whole bunch of issues. He's missed 6 with the right hamstring injury. And then Kristaps Porzingis, he's come back and he's been good. And the Washington Wizards are much better with him on the floor. And now they're putting him with Gafford. Give him some toughness because we know that Porzingis has no toughness. So you give him Gafford, gives him a little bit of toughness out there. And their defense was atrocious. All of a sudden you start playing Porzingis and Gafford in, and their defensive rating, I mean, I know it's a short sample size, but since Porzingis and Gafford have played together in the starting lineup, it's the number 1 in the league at 106.3. OKC comes in off their 3rd loss in 4 games, 126-115 at Orlando on Wednesday. This is their 3rd game in 4 days. Shea, 33 points in the loss at Orlando, 8 of 19 from the floor, 17 of 18 from 3. And that was after missing the game against Boston with non-COVID illness when they went for 150. I wonder if the market has not changed quick enough with this new Washington defensive rating, and you have models and saying that the Wizards are going to score points to go to the over, but in fact the under might be the play. Let's see what you have to say about this one. Take it away, Wizards Thunder.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. If you are single betting this other trend on top of the New York trend, you're making money. And that is Wizards, Oklahoma City, over 57 in the first quarter. This team is first in the league in first quarter over-unders. For whatever reason, they come out guns blazing in the first quarter. And anything under 59 points, I'm just going to jump on it. Because they're running up and down the courts in the first quarter. They're not playing much defense, right? So this one's a little higher. It's higher than the 55 and 56, 57 points. These teams that play the Wizards will go over in the first quarter, and then they just kind of sputter out, and eventually these games go under. But it's all in that first quarter for whatever reason that this team is able to score whatever it is that they need to score to go over, whether it's 55, 56, I've even seen 60. These teams can do that. Right now, the Wizards are averaging 29 points in their last 3 in first quarter. Oklahoma is giving you 28 points in the first quarter, averaging 29 as well. So Oklahoma at home averages more points than they do away. This is a perfect spot, I believe, for these guys to go up and down the court and go over the 57-point mark. So I've already stepped on that. Wizards, Thunder, over 57 points in the first quarter. I believe this is a gift that just keeps on giving. If you've been riding this train, you've been making money. You won't hit it all the time, right? But you're hitting at like an 80% hit rate right now. You could be literally making all of your money just betting on the Wizards' first quarter over. That's just the way it's been.
Well, let's hook you up with the best number available here. We can get you a 56.5 at -110.
I will jump all on that.
Durrell's on the first quarter over 56.5 at -110. Troy Torrance says Wizards' last game of the road trip have been successful against the spread in the spot past 2 years, but he is off of it. Dan Kelly says Wizards have a nice first half road winning trend going.
Yeah, you're just making money. You're making money if you're betting them those overs. Ask Dan to look at his spreadsheet. It was a gut play for me, and I made a lot of money doing it. And it was against the Wizards and the Bucks. And the last time they played, the Wizards only put up, I think, 14 points in the first quarter against the Bucks. But it's just something about you give me the Wizards when they're playing these teams that are also fast, might not be the best team, who can score, who is a little gritty here. This is the perfect spot for them to put up 60 points in the first quarter. Now, how it ends up afterwards could go down very fast, but these teams put up points in the first quarter, and Wizards allow teams to put up points in the first quarter.
I like it. Gerald, first quarter over 56.5 minus 110. I think I'm going to roll with proof bets here because you have all these tickets on the over. The line drops a half point. We know Wizards are playing different defensively.
Yeah, they just because it goes over in the first quarter, I've seen it, Jimmy, does not mean that game will go over at all.
Interesting breakdown. Let's keep rolling. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern, Detroit Pistons 11-30, 6-17 on the road at the San Antonio Spurs, 12-26, 7-13 at home with AT&T Center. San Antonio, Texas, Detroit 3-2 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 101.5 possessions a game. Spurs 1-4, playing at the pace of 100.1 possessions a game. Let's pull up the line history here for this one. This one opened up with Detroit plus 1.5, no movement. But total perspective opened up at 233.5, is now at 236. Take a look at the cash flow for this. 4,410 tickets in. 28% of the tickets, 45% of the cash on Detroit. 74% of tickets on the over. We don't have a cash flow on that number. Pistons coming off their second win in 3 games, 122-119 at Golden State on Wednesday. Sadiq Bey's game-winning 28-foot 3 beat the final buzzer. Although his fucking first ever Top Shot card still worth a fucking $1.
Jesus.
Unfortunately, I could have sold that thing for $100, but I've been offered $1 for it. Bogdanovich hit 5 of Detroit's 16 threes, finished with 29. During 18 and 11 double-double. Bay added 17, Burks 15, Isaiah Stewart 13, Ivy 12, and Killian Hayes 13 assists. Spurs come in off their third straight loss, 117-114 at the Knicks on Wednesday. Keldon Johnson 26, Jay Rich 20, Zach Collins 16, McDermott 15, Trey 14, and of course Devin Vassell gone 19.4 points per game. Arthroscopic procedure on his left knee. And he's missed 8 games. He's dealing with knee issues. Just fix it. Take it away for us here, Daryl. Pistons, Spurs.
No, honestly, I don't want to take it away. Honestly, no. I swear to God, I'm not taking this one away at all. We're not going to even talk about it. We're not talking about this game at all. Whatever you got, you got. I'm cool.
Markel likes during rebounds and Bojan points. Pistons money line.
All these games. No, man. Come on. Put up the 1-800 number if we're talking about betting this game, Brett.
Oh man,
come on.
I don't need to know the 1-800 number, man.
You and your bum fights next game.
That's
please.
right. That's right. I gotta come down to LA for more bum fights. Get to Tent City. They found the rapper, man. They found him. He's good to go, right?
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
Yeah, they found him. He's just in Tent City, smiling away. There is some issues.
He was gone for like what? How long? For like 2 years?
I blame Kanye.
Oh, come on.
I blame Kanye.
Here we go.
Pistons, Spurs, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Zilch.
Nothing. Come on, man.
Squat. That's nothing. All right. Let's move on. LA Clippers 21-18, 10-10 on the road at the Minnesota Timberwolves, 18-21, 11-9 at home. Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Clippers 1-4, playing at a pace of 98.8 possessions a game. Minnesota 2-3, playing at a pace of 100.5 possessions a game. Take a look at the line history for this one, the Clip Show. And I don't know how you wouldn't want to back the Clips, but I was like, let's just watch the market here. Clips open up at +3.5. They're now at +4. So it's not like a lot of people are expecting a bounce back. This total hasn't moved off the 224.5 either. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 4,258 tickets in. 26% of tickets and 67% of cash are on the Clippers. But the market's not moving towards them, which is tricky. 53% of tickets, 81% of cash on the over. Market's not moving towards the over. Clippers on the second half of back-to-back after losing their 4th straight game last night in ugly fashion, 122-91 at Denver. 31-point margin of defeat, worst of the year. They were awful. 11 of 41 from the field in the first half. Now, Kawhi and Paul George sat out the entire second half.
Yes, as they should.
Yeah, they didn't deserve to play, but that helps if they're going to be here. Aaron Gaza on the Clippers and the over. Sammy Comer on Clippers first quarter. Timberwolves coming off their second straight win, 113-106 at home versus Portland on Wednesday, and went for 32. 10th straight game of at least 23. So he's gone for at least 29 over his last 4. Cat still out with the calf injury. Take it away for us here, Daryl. Clippers, Timberwolves.
Yeah, I was going to almost tell you I didn't want to take this away. Well, you could have it. This was almost that type of game. You can't put in the whole, back. This is a really bad spot for the Clippers. Why? Because it's a back-to-back. It's back-to-back travel, right? But as you just said, the Clippers did not play their boys at all in the second half. They got absolutely obliterated. This is what I'm going to be anxious to see. Please, oh please, do not have Kawhi show up on the injury report. If this fool sits this game and he only played a half game yesterday, I'm completely done with the Clippers. Completely done with the Clippers. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't care about them now. This did feel like a Clippers spot, right? Because as you can see what's going on with Minnesota is they're really not liking Rudy Gobert at all. But they did beat Portland. They did beat Denver. And they beat them convincingly. So it seems like the Clippers do have the depth. They do have the players that could match up well against Minnesota. What they showed me yesterday, man, that was really, really bad. It was embarrassing. So for right now, it's a no play for me. I like Sam's look on the Clippers first quarter, but Minnesota's one of those higher scoring teams in the first quarter, right? They are up there. If I'm looking right, they're right now ranked number 5 in the league, averaging 30.4 points in the first quarter. Their last 3 has been at 30.3, when the Clippers are actually third to last, giving you 27, 21 of the last, right? And if you look at this game, I do believe this would be a revenge game for the Timberwolves because the Clippers already got them first game. So, I always like to take those dogs in the first quarter, and you do think there's going to be a sense of urgency that coaching should come up out of Ty Lue saying, hey, you guys need to get your heads together. Because essentially what he did was he benched his players. You guys embarrassed me this bad? All right, you're out of here, right? So maybe with that sense of urgency and showing how embarrassed you are and embarrassing your players, they do come out and play a little more with more tenacity, ferocity here. But I'm just not sold on the Clippers. And then the thing I have a problem with Minnesota is the fact that the big man that you do want in there is hurt, because you don't want Gobert in there with the chemistry that this Minnesota Timberwolves are having with him right now. So for me, it's just too many moving parts. Good luck to anybody who plays this game, but it's just not something that I felt comfortable having an edge on my end, and so I left it alone.
Troy Torrance saying line functionality all over the Timberwolves, but I feel like there's a chance or I shouldn't say chance, but a bounce back situation.
Yeah.
Here, I can understand, why a lot of people would, and Dan Kelly said, I did a little breakdown last night on teams playing second and back-to-back and having got blown out the previous night and going round Clips first quarter and first half.
Nice. Tell me this. If anybody can see this, where was this line at yesterday?
Yeah.
Or earlier in the week? Where was this line at yesterday?
Well,
before the blowout?
We'll go to Bet Online. They'll give it to us here. Bet Online opened this up. Oh, no. I think that the issue with putting these lines out early is that you have George and Kawhi. Like I didn't expect them both to be in the lineup yesterday. I was on the Nuggets -5. Oh, road to road. Thank you, Dan. Troy Torrance says Paul George even going to play. I don't see.
Yeah,
I think it's a white flag if they don't play. They have to show something here.
They only play 24 minutes. You got to be kidding me if this team does not play Kawhi, Paul, and or if one of them sits, I have a problem. So that's why it's just one of those things to where if they sit, you're going to get a better line. So if you like the Clippers, I'll wait for that better line. You'll get a larger spread.
Yeah, I think I'm going to move on it. Game time decision says Regis, and Troy says quiet for sure. God.
Oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me.
I think they play. I do.
You've got
But
to be
that's just
kidding
me
me.
being a fan of sports. Like that's not even.
You've got to be kidding me.
Let's move on. Cavaliers 25-14, 7-10 on the road at Denver Nuggets 24-13, 14-3 at home. We are sitting at 139 likes, 11 more likes. We're giving out 4 prizes of $25 each on our Wheel of Glory. Our Wheel of Glory right there. Yeah, there it is. We need. It'd be great to have Jeff's face in the middle of that going around.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Wheel of Glory. Jeff Slaughter giving out 4 prizes of $25. Now you have to be a member and you have to write Leche into the chat. Let's go. Cleveland 3-2 over the past 5, playing at a pace of 97.37 possessions a game. Denver 3-2, playing at a pace of 99.9 possessions a game. Take a look at the line history for this one. The Nuggets made things look easy. God, they bounced back at home quite well. Open up -6, -105. They're -6, -104. No movement. Totals wise, open up at 224. Dropped all the way down to 221. We had our guy Rob Free says, my play of the day is Nuggets first quarter. No Mitchell, no Garland. As Eastern Conference teams only play there once a year. It usually takes 6 to 10 minutes to get acclimated to the thin air. Denver will be up 7. So Cavs won their third straight 98-88 at home versus Phoenix on Wednesday. Nuggets on the second half of a back-to-back after winning their third and 4 games, 122-91 at home over the Clippers. We talked about the Clippers players not playing. No Nuggets starter played more than 25 minutes. KCP, 28-59. Jokic, 24-11. Porter, 22-11. Jamal Murray, 21-21. Aaron Gordon, 21-09. And none of the starters played in the fourth quarter. Take it away. Oh, did I give the cash flow here for this one? 31% of the tickets and 79% of the cash on the Cavs. Then for 28% tickets, 66% cash on the under. Did that under move at all? That unders dropped 3 points. Wow. So they're concerned with that money. Take it away here for us, Daryl. Cavs, Nuggets.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
You ready for this? I have to be real quiet. I don't want to wake up anybody in the house.
Oh, jeez.
You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Yeah. If you know, you know. I'm in a holy house, so I have to use my my indoor voice. Come on. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? Golden State is number 1 in first quarter scoring. You know who's number 2? Denver. Denver's number 2. Cleveland's sitting at all at 20th. Denver's giving you 31 points in the first quarter. Last 3 giving you 30. Last one giving you 32. So they are in that 30-point range, right? Cleveland, 27 points on average, 23 in their last 3, 15 points in their last 1. What you have to understand, and what I've noticed about Denver, and a lot of people might think this is kind of shallow or whatever. The person who has really stepped up this year, who has shown tremendous improvement, is Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is slowly becoming a pivotal player of that squad, man. And you talk about somebody who is like night and day in comparison to how he's playing from this year to last year, it's Aaron Gordon. You saw it in the Clippers game, man. This guy's just unbelievable when it comes to his defensive assignments, when it comes to getting to the rim, when it comes to getting boards, when it comes to his shot selection. I mean, he's getting any shot that he wants. Any shot that he wants, he's getting, right? So you have Bones Highland just making threes. I mean, and it's just less pressure off a Joker. And this is why the Nuggets are where they are right now. You want to take Cleveland at home, but you do honestly want to have Garland and you want to have Spider Mitchell out there. And if they're not out there, this is a completely different team. They've got trees, down under in the front court, right? But you got Joker, right? This guy can do whatever he wants whenever he wants. So in my opinion here, this is just another spot. I cashed on this yesterday. I actually parlayed it with the Celtics with the Celtics first quarter, cashed it. And I'm just going back to the well here with this one again. I would not have taken this if these guys would have played a full game. I don't think it would have been that easy, right, for me to take it. But this is a spot here where Denver, how they played yesterday, and then not even having to play almost this whole second half because of what was being done on the Clippers, is another spot where I feel like Denver can just win that first quarter and win it outright. This number is -6, which is pretty large for the Cavaliers considering how good they are, but the fact that they don't have their two guards playing means a whole bunch. So this could be a prop game for some other guards on Denver, but in the meanwhile, I mean, I would look at Jamal Murray. I would go back to the well with Bones, go back to the well with Aaron Gordon, but this is by far my favorite play. Denver Nuggets, I got it -2 first quarter. I don't care what the spread is.
-2 at -105. Big shout out to Series Business. Every time I say his name, it sharpens me up. It gets me focused. Series Business. Now a member of
Thank you, brother.
Pubbin. Series Business wrote Lecce, and he's in, and we need 5 more likes for the prizes to be handed out. Daryl, can we please see that note one more time? Jesus. I don't care. Yeah. I don't give a shit. All right. Locked in -2 at -105. Rob free on it already as well. I like it too. There's Cheshire Cat in the house. Yes, 4 prizes, $25 will be handed out from Jeff Slaughter. I like it. Let's roll on. Next up, 10 p.m. Eastern, Miami Heat 2019, 9-11 on the road. Phoenix Suns 2019, 14-5 at home. We're at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. They did, Cheshire. I was pleased. That they got a win. Pleased. Footprint Center, Miami 3-2 over the past 5, playing at a pace 97.5 possessions a game. Phoenix 1-4, playing at a pace of 94.5 possessions a game. Slow pace for both of these squads. And without Booker, that pace is getting slower for Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Phoenix opening up as 2-point dogs where they stand right now. It did get to 1.5 for a bit, but it's back at 2. The still opened up at 217. It's now at 214. Take a look at the cash here for this one. 6,438 tickets in. 33% of tickets, 42% of the cash on the Phoenix Suns. Then we have 35% of tickets and 96% of cash on the under, and the books have moved at 3 points. I mean, that's wow. So Heat had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 112-109 loss at the Lakers on Wednesday night. 2-2 entering the final game of their 5-game road trip. Bam been playing great. Butler went for 27 against the Lakers after scoring 9 against the Clippers. Suns coming off their 4th straight win, 98-8 at Cleveland on Wednesday. 2-8 without Booker this season.
4 straight loss.
1-5 road trip. Can you find clarity here for us, Daryl? Second to last game on the card, Heat Suns.
Yeah, I this one is very confusing because why are the Heat favored here? I don't understand it. Suns at home. I mean, of course you don't have Book in there, right? But Heat did just lose to the Lakers. And the Suns, yes, they did lose to the Cavs, but we're talking about 2 points at home where the Cavs really don't lose. They have a great record at home. So if you're trying to tell me the Suns can be competitive with the Cavs at home, I don't see why they couldn't beat the Heat here. I don't understand this line. I don't. So it's a no play for me here. Maybe somebody has a better angle, but when I looked at this line, it was just very confusing. I don't see why this wouldn't at least be a pick'em game. But the Phoenix Suns should win this game, if you ask me. They should win this game. I just don't have a play on it. Didn't understand the line.
Who would have thought Heat Suns would be a bum fight?
A bum fight, bro.
Hard to comprehend that right now. I agree. I think the Suns have enough to take care of business here. Ayton, Saric, Bridges, Shamet, and Chris Paul.
I mean, if Laundry Shaman, what's his threes? I know they've had to have gone down a little bit. Is he at 2.5 or 3.5? Because all it takes is him going off, man. Landry Shamet, man, if he can make his threes, I mean, this game is lights out. There's no Duncan Robinson on the other end. You might not have Dwayne Dedman. Caleb
not playing
Martin's day to
offense.
day. Yeah, it's just I didn't understand why they. I think people are going to look at this and just easily take the heat here because of the 4-game losing streak, and then LJ did just put up a great stat there with them being 0-4 in a Southwest Division. So maybe that's something to look at. But the Phoenix Suns are still gritty. They suck right now, but they're still gritty. But I'm probably going to get there with the Suns. I'm just kind of curious to see what this injury report does.
I like this angle for the Suns. Bounce back at home after a horrific road trip. Maybe just wanting to go home.
Yeah,
road trip.
I don't see why this wouldn't be a pick'em game, or you could even give the Suns -1 here. I don't.
Well, I tell you what, Suns are on my card. I'm gonna use the Suns here. +2 -110 and +110 money line. I'll figure out which one I want. I'm moving on the Suns. Let's talk about the final game on the board. Your Los Angeles Lakers in play here. We all love when you told we passed 150. We're at 152 likes. We will be giving out 4 $25 prizes right after this game breakdown here. 4 prizes. There is the Wheel of Glory right there. All you have to do is be a member and write Leche into the chat. Hawks 18-20, 7-12 on the road. Lakers 17-21, 9-8 at home. Crypto in LA. Rob Free says inside the locker room is what's wrong with the Suns. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you could.
I get it.
But what the hell's going on inside the Heat locker room,
bro?
Like, where are their excuses? You know, I don't know. This is an angle that I kind of like. Team terrible road trip coming back home. You know, so I'm interested. But I'm interested. I'm going to move on it. And I like the cash breakdown. I like that the public is on the Heat, but the bigger bets are on the Suns. Atlanta 1-4 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 103.1 possessions a game. Lakers 4-1. Playing the parade. 101.7 possessions a game. Hawks snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 120-117 win in Sacramento on Wednesday night. Lakers come in off of their third straight win, 112-109 at home over Miami on Wednesday without LeBron. Let's take a look at the line history for the final game on our board. The Hawks open up as 1.5-point favorites. They've moved to 2.5. This total opened up
crazy.
At 242. It's still there at 242. And line history wise, 69% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on the Lakers. And the line's moving to the Hawks. Then you have 55% of tickets, 99% of cash on the over, and that is moved 5 cents in juice. You know, the Hawks have players like Trey that like to be in the limelight, and what better place to be in the limelight than Los Angeles, California? BJ says Hawks Smack City, best spot on the board. Proof Bet says way too high in 240. He's cold under. And Rob Free says, for some reason, I'm always uncomfortable. It's hell betting the Hawks. Take it away for us, Daryl. Final game on the card. Great job. There's Ant Horn, a new member. Thank you for joining us, Ant. Right, let's change the chat. You can get in on the Wheel of Glory. Yeah. And Troy saying Capella probably plays tonight as well. All this money on the Lakers market moving towards the Hawks. Take it away.
Moving toward the Hawks. It's also weird that was a 47-point game by LeBron. Total on that game was 251, right? Hawks smack the Lakers in the first quarter by 10 points. It was 33-23, and the Lakers win that game 130-121. And you're coming back to LA after already beating the Hawks, and LA's home dogs here. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. This one is a little more confusing. I could see where people would take the Hawks, as in, this being a revenge spot. But you do have LeBron coming back to play again, right? He had a little time off with his injury, if you want to call it that. I couldn't get a read on this game either. This one was also confusing to me. The Hawks being favored and money coming in on the Hawks after they just got obliterated by the Lakers. Them coming back, and you're getting -2, -2.5. I don't know. So I've been doing really good with looking at Lakers first quarter and first half because they've been okay as of late. But they got smacked by the Hawks in the first quarter. And I just don't know if the Hawks are going to come in a little more motivated, especially themselves after them just having a get-right game against Sacramento. So for right now, it's a stay away from me here. This one was just confusing. This one was just confusing to me. You are going to get LeBron back. LeBron just put up almost a 50-burger against you. So it's probably something I'll wait to get to the window with. But honestly, my side would still be the Lakers. It would be the Lakers. I don't want to sound like a homer, but it would still be a Lakers side for me, considering that they just played and LeBron had their number then. Now you're coming back to La La Land. Lakers should smack them again.
Yeah, I maybe this analysis will keep me off. I was planning on moving on the Hawks. What do you think of the under proof bet? Says this is way too high. He's cold under.
Yeah, I mean, but like the last game was 251, and the total in that game, and there's a certain rule, that was at 243. That was at 243 last game. Line Atlanta -6, total 243. That was the closing line. So 242 on this. I mean, it could be the same thing. Could be the same thing where this gets to 250, right? So maybe because the Hawks were -6 in the first game, they still got to give it to them. The Hawks are still the better team. Capello ruled out of this game now too. Like, why wouldn't this again be a Lakers spot on a Friday in La La Land? I would have to still look at Lakers or nothing here and look at the over.
Well, that just took the Hawks off my worksheet, but it also made me think of saturated comments. Did anyone win Jose's glory hole yet? Let's go to the Wheel of Glory. The Wheel of Glory. We have over 150 likes. Our man Jeff Slaughter is giving out 4 $25 prizes.
Slaughter.
4 $25 prizes for the Jeff Slaughter Wheel of Glory. Thank you guys so much for being members, and thank you for supporting us here. It means a ton. Nasty Nate says, can I win all 4 times? That's a good question. Jose, you can't. You only win once?
No, only win once. Sorry.
Okay, only win once. Sorry. Fucking Grinch, man. Jose pissed off today.
Well, Jimmy, you've not seen my Grinch impersonation. I'm sure of it. So
no, but I've heard great things.
Jose, why are you so mad, Jose?
Yeah. Why are you always hating, man?
I don't know. It's a good question. I just live better. By the way, please just look at the wheel. If you're not on the wheel and you think you should be on the wheel, say something. Here's a little test spin. This is not counting. A little test spin.
Oh no, who's gonna win the test?
Coin's gonna win the test.
Oh no, dude, this is awful. A test spin?
Coin. No, yeah, that's what you get.
Oh God, Coin, I'm so sorry.
Coin,
Jose is such a dick. What a dude, that's so mean.
I said it 6-7 times.
God.
Coin, sorry. That's the test.
Oh God, why would you do a test spin?
Because I want to make sure everyone
asshole.
And we shuffle it here. We're
Coin,
shuffling.
we are so sorry that Jose is so callous.
We're
What
shuffling.
a fucking dick. There he's like, God, I'm so sorry, Coin. He's just a mean person. He's just a bad egg, you know?
We're shuffling. We shuffled it up and we're ready to go now.
Oh, Cheshire says he's not on the wheel. You did right, Leche.
Okay, there you go. Sorry. See, there you go. Perfect. Thank you, Cheshire. Cat, you're on the wheel now, and I'll shuffle it one more time.
Oh God, what?
And by the way, shout out to Jeff. Of course, I put him in the center of the wheel as requested.
I love it.
Let's ride.
Slaughter Wheel of Glory. $25 prize number 1. Take it away, Jose.
Leonard Porsche.
Oh, great guy.
Porsche.
Great guy. Oh, okay.
Porsche.
Chris.
Porsche.
So, Coin was just 3 spots away after Jose slit his throat.
Right, Coin's gonna fucking come at me with Nancy Kerrigan type fucking emotions and just.
I would. That was right in the kneecaps.
Move.
Friday.
Right in the decaf, bro.
All right, well, Coin, I'm rooting for you. Number one.
Oh, yeah, that's going to help. That's going to help everything.
Shout out to Lenny. Number 2. Let's see it.
Oh, Slaughter's head moving pretty fast.
Serious business, you are on the wheel, I promise. Jimmy Gomez. Jimmy Gomez. Serious. I wrote your name in there. I'm almost certain you're on there. So don't worry. There you are, right there. But yes, Jimmy Gomez. Number 2. Damn, he's gonna Chris Beard me. I didn't know we were making those jokes already. Shout out to Chris Beard.
That's funny.
That's nice. Well, actually, I won't say it.
Well, shout out to Jimmy Gomez. If I do remember correctly, Jimmy Gomez was gonna fight like 5 guys at the Spurs game or the Final Four, whichever one. I forget which one was that.
Yeah, it was it wasn't the Spurs game. It was the college hoops.
Final Four, the Elite 8.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Jimmy throwing hands, huh?
Yeah, Jimmy's about that life.
But Jimmy has our back. Jimmy has our back.
He's trying to run the fade. Okay.
Exactly, Daryl. Whenever you need someone, you call Jimmy Gomez.
Yeah.
Number 3. The suspense. Suspense. Number 3. Oh! Wine time.
I thought it was Galactic. Our guy, Wine Time Sports.
Wine time.
Nice. Wine Time, great friend. Getting that cash. $25 richer. Wine Time.
He knows what to give with that 25.
Yeah, man. A box.
Yes.
A box of wine.
I hope he gets it. I got Galactic High, the agony and defeat. The agony. At least
That's just the kind of day it's been. That's the kind of day
I love
been.
Galactic High, man. I love him. He's perfectly put. Just one word.
All right.
Word. Oh, it's funny. Okay, the final.
One.
Our final spin. Our final winner. Jose, take it away, my friend.
Coin, I'm rooting for you. I'm going to shuffle it again. I'm going to give it one more shuffle.
Oh, God. Why are you playing
He
God?
just messed it up.
Why are you playing God, Jose? Who gave you the right to play God?
It's not going to be Coin or Galactic
It didn't
High.
need to be shuffled.
Ooh!
Ah!
C. James!
C. James. Congratulations. Oh, no. Was JB not on there?
He was on there.
C. James. Excellent work.
C. James. There you
I
go.
love it. Big thank you to Jeff Slaughter. A fun way to end the Friday. Great guy. I love.
Not so much fun for Coin or Galactic High, I tell you that.
Well, Coin got fucked by Jose. I mean, that was just simply Jose screwing over one of our friends. On the other hand, Galactic
Coin.
Yeah, right. Galactic High, on the other hand, that was his just fuck was the perfect thing.
That was.
Man. You guys are so much fun. This is so much fun. My man, Daryl, thank you for rolling with us. I'll do a review of all that here in a second.
And don't forget to DM the Pub Sports Radio Twitter to claim your prizes, by the way. DM Pub Sports Radio on Twitter. If you don't, get fucked.
Jose, get a haircut, Jose.
What a guy. No, I want that pompadour. That pompadour is a thing of beauty, man. There's some gum in it. We've heard little bubbaluchas.
Oh God, this guy.
Daryl, my man, great to spend a Friday with you. Be back in action on Wednesdays here next week. I hope you feel better, my friend. Let's just do a quick review of NBA while Daryl's here before he moves on for the rest of his day. Portland, Indiana, we stayed off. Daryl gets his card started with the Bulls first quarter at plus 1.5 at minus 108. Dan Kelly's on the Bulls team total over first quarter. Then Daryl's on the Pelicans plus 4.5 at minus 110, and the Pelicans minus 3 at plus 220. I'm interested in the Pelicans as well. Dan Kelly's on Brooklyn first half and says you should wait till halftime to move on it. I'm interested in the Hornets. Going to need more time. I'm interested in the under 230. I'm going to bet the under 231 in the Wizards Oklahoma City game. Daryl's on the first quarter over 56.5 in that spot. Detroit Spurs, we stayed off. Clippers plus 4, I want. Nuggets first quarter minus 2 is a spot for Daryl. Also from Rob Free. It's his play of the day. So I'm going to join them on that spot. And then I'm going to be on the Suns tonight. Hawks, Lakers, we stayed off. Follow our guy, Daryl, on Twitter, @It'sDaryl. Spectacular job. This was such a big, long card. Thank you for making the time for us, my friend. Just so much love for you, dude. So any last words from our guy, Daryl, here?
Appreciate everybody, man. Appreciate everybody. Make sure you're out there being safe. Enjoy the weekend. I am going to put some more meds in my body, man, and call it a day. But thanks for having me, Jimmy. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to sit and talk ball with you. I will see you on next week.
I love it. And, now you got all this action, Daryl, so you can get better and enjoy the action, the bets that you have made. That is our guy, It's Daryl, in the house. Let's review all action here. We have in NHL, Bobano on the over 6 at -120 in Nashville, Washington. He's on the over 6 at -115 in Arizona, Chicago. I'm close to moving on the Isles first period at +145. Bobano's on the over 6.5 in San Jose, Anaheim. And I've had a really tough start to 2023. I'd gone 16-5 to end 2022, and then just 0-7 debacle. In college basketball, where we're running real nice, Bobano's on the over 155 in Western Michigan, Toledo. I'm going to be on the over in Princeton, Columbia. Bobano's on the over 154.5 and Penn +4 with Dingle coming back in Pennsylvania, Cornell. I'm going to be on the over in Dartmouth, Yale, and Yale first half. Pimp slap play of the day is Harvard Crimson at a pick'em. I'm going to be on the under in St. Peter's, Siena. I'm going to be on the under 141. Oh, there's been massive line movement, just massive line changes in the Quinnipiac Rider total. So, you know what? I'm going to study that for longer. That's not a definite bet here. Bobano's on Quinnipiac +2 at -105. Bobano's on Marist +12.5. I'm joining him. DC Cappers 4% top plays. Iona Marist under 137. Billy Friedrich says Kokkinen and Stolar is confirmed for Shark Stock, so that's going to help everybody's over. Stimmy OG is on the Hornets first half plus the points and sprinkled first half money line. Bobano's on the over 140.5 in Canisius, Manhattan. He's on Niagara +4, Oakland +7. He's on Detroit +5 and the over 154.5 in Detroit Mercy Wright State. I'm joining him on that over. Akron, Ball State, we stayed off, and Bobano closes his card off with California +9. We have a huge weekend here, huge weekend here of action. But starting today, more glory.
Tank.
Was this a personal message sent to you?
Yeah, Tank's play of the day is the under in the Dartmouth Yale game, under 129.5.
Oh no, that was the move I was going on the over on.
Yeah, that is his Tank play of the day. His chat not working today for some reason. However, he's on the under.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to sit with that shit. Damn, Taint under. Let me just look at that. You know what? I'll do that on my own time. Fuck. Don't like hearing that. It's a shit news break. See what he's doing? He does it to you, Coin. He does it to me. It's just Jose just breaking hearts here. Just fucking YG always hating, man. All right. That is our show for today. Oh, yeah. So we have Sharpies. The good, the bad, and the money player prop show here in an hour and 5 minutes. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern, NBA Pub Hub at 5 p.m. Eastern, our Net Profits college basketball show. And then tonight at 7:15 Eastern, its game starts at 7:30, but 7:15 Eastern, Brooklyn Nets at New Orleans Pelicans live bet stream starring Razor Sharp Picks and Dabby Cab. Saturday morning, NCAA Pub Hub. After that, we have Kentucky going up against Alabama. And then Sunday, NFL Pub Hub in the morning, and the live bet stream is our Titans game. That's Saturday night is Titans. Sunday is the Lions Packers. So we're not going live. God, maybe we should go live for that Titans game. Jesus. But then I'm live for the Monday college football game. Maybe I can just let the college dudes handle that. Take Monday off.
Yeah. Go hang out with the kids. Maybe gotta go. By the way, I learned a new term yesterday. Maybe need to go gank a car.
Yeah, you never heard gank?
I don't know. That sounded like a slur. I didn't know what that was. I was like, oh my goodness.
Slur.
Gank.
Yeah, I got to figure that out with the fam here. Pretty angry group. No fucking car and kids still home. Great job. I can't promise that I'll be live for that. I've got to talk that out and plan that out. Nasty Nate Pimp Slap play today is Harvard Crimson.
That is a very important game to me, that Titans game. It's one of 5 very important games.
There's a lot on the line. You can see that all in the Cappers contest show. Gank was Nasty Nate's first word. See?
Everyone needs to just open up their repertoire a little bit and put gank.
Yeah, man. Don't get your shit ganked. It's fucking all right. Let's put a bow on this one. We went this is our longest show of 2023. Thank you for all your hard work, Jose. Looking forward to get the Jose's Plays of the Day back in business. So let us know when you're ready to rock on that.
Basketball, but just wait. The Baseball World Classic will come.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys. Justin McElvey, Nasty Nate, Stimmy, Mike, Harold Williams, J Dub, Robert Franklin, Rob Free, Billy Friedrich, Tori Coker, Saturated, Kadesh, Razor Sharp Picks, Kevin K.
You have to be KD, Kadesh. No pressure.
Yeah, he's our KD. I love Kadesh. He's great NBA capper. firing punchlines today. All right, we're gonna put a bow on this blitz. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's have a big Friday. It's not been a very good week, and we had strung together so many strong weeks there to finish the season in 2022. So looking forward to get back on the right side of the cash. Thank you guys for supporting Pub Sports Radio. It means a ton to us. Let's go out there and get it. Jose, you want to leche us into the future, my friend?
Sure. Let's go out there and gank those bookmakers.
Gank.